And
Are you playing the xylophone again?
this isn't the xylophone,
I
or
can't
is
do
it?
it. I'm still clicking the last buttons to go live. I mean, we're live, but I gotta
Hey,
click
live.
I gotta
Hey,
click a few
live.
more things here. I don't know
Love
my We're
Jesus.
doing True Thursday on Wednesday. I don't know where my producer is, so I'll have to he'll be
This is
back
awesome.
Thursday.
You never know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You
All
never know
right.
where the truth is gonna come.
You never know who's gonna come.
You never know where the truth is gonna come. Speaking of,
Right.
I have a request. I want to double dip here and also do my podcast for the boys. So
Oh,
if you'll entertain me, just if you'll humor me for just a second.
yeah.
You are such a good boy. You are such a good boy. You are such a good boy.
Who the hell are you talking to?
The guys who love hearing that. That's how I start
Oh,
every podcast. So listen, a lot of them have this issue, Sean, and
oh
this
no.
is the rare time I'm gonna actually invite a dude in to share because I do get that request all the time. Like, hey,
Mm.
can I, watch you with some dude? I'm like, oh my god, not. It's like my BBC story. So funny, so funny. Ask me that later. But this is the first time I'm bringing a dude in because I think you're valuable. First of all, I call you. First of all, I call you
Thank
Jesus.
you. I'm valuable.
You are very valuable, but to both sexes and also to the fellas, because I think the fellas need to understand and witness and see a dude who's doing it, like
Mm.
who's living the tasks that do make your life better, but maybe you're stubborn as hell and you're not ready to do it and you don't know how to do it and you're making excuses, blah blah blah. And
Mm.
they see somebody who's like, oh, he's doing that thing or he's eating that thing, So I wanted to have a conversation with you because I
Mhm.
seen you in with my own eyes and I spent a lot of time
Mhm.
with you.
Mhm.
Been everywhere in your house except your bedroom, although I have peeked in there. And I know a lot about you. And I also know that you're super healthy and aware. And I want to talk to you and ask you your own experiences with semen retention,
Mhm.
with getting horny as hell and just wanting to just go, like, where's the balance? What do you do? And your semen and heart retention sex style. Like, what's your deal?
Well, I mean, I've heard of the concept of uh, semen retention, but it was never like a goal of mine. I just, um, you know, rule of thumb, just, don't touch the unit.
Why?
Just because,
Waste of time.
yeah, I mean, it's a waste of time. But I mean, it doesn't feel anywhere as good as, being with a lucky lady. Um, so yeah, so it wasn't like a crazy hard thing to do
Sometimes it
at
is kind
all.
of hard. What are you doing?
Hey-o.
Hey!
Um, but I think what it is that a lot of people they use it to regulate their nervous system,
Yeah,
where where I had gone down other routes to regulate my nervous system. So I
yeah.
wasn't yeah, I wasn't using that to stay calm. So I would guess that the challenge for a lot of people, and I can for some an ex girlfriend that I used to date, I know for sure that she used you know
What?
rubbing her turntable, if you know what I'm saying, scratching her record, anytime that she was stressed out about something. But she wasn't really good at self-soothing. She would either take a bath or she would do a DJ set. You
Do
know,
a
just
DJ set or like, yeah, okay. So, or she, played the guitar.
I haven't heard of that one, but
No, play the guitar. Yeah, that's funny. Was it this or was it with the plug thing? Not the plug, the battery. You don't want to plug it in.
Oh yeah, I think she had
Anything
I think she was a girl's girl, had
dangerous.
sisters and a lot of female friends, so they were always talking about the latest gadget that they would, you know. work their
That's
gizmo with.
those
Any
days.
rate, so what I'm saying is I hazard a guess that a lot of people are using that to
Yes.
calm their nervous system down, and that's just what they've done for 20 years or 10 years or 15 years or whatever it is.
Why are you talking about
So
me?
yeah, you're gonna, so you too, huh? So I'm just saying I could understand it being a big hurdle.
Real thing. That's what
Yeah,
I want.
it was kind of like, it's like it's a waste of time. So,
So you
you
get
know,
more done. So by
let's
not
have other stuff to do or
you get more
whatever.
done. What
Mm,
about to like put yourself to sleep and all that, which they do that too. A lot of people.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Is that the dopamine thing too?
well, I think it's just you're releasing all of those, you know, brain chemicals, right? So it's same thing. It's like whatever anxiety, you're just cooled off after that, right?
yeah, or you're
So
sleep.
same thing, like how people use it to regulate their nervous system. They're using that to go to sleep. So
So the key is regulating your nervous system in other ways.
I think if you go down that route, then what is the retention would not
Mhm.
be a it would not be a big deal.
Right, because you're calm and you're
Right.
nervous. Also, it makes your sex last longer too.
Right. And then, same thing like if you're trying to quit caffeine, but you sleep great, so, you're not overcoming a sleep deprivation situation. So when you go to quit caffeine, it's like, oh, no big deal. But if you're, super sleep deprived and then you quit caffeine, I'm
Mm,
sure that that's a very difficult process. So I'm just, you know, um, that's just my guess on it. I mean, does that make sense?
yeah.
Yeah.
What about dating in general? Like out in the world now that you have seen what a lot of other dudes have seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what you would be your warning or what you've seen out there. Like, hey, fellas, I have an ear.
Hmm.
What I'm seeing on
Warn
there, how to avoid
what
hell.
to avoid?
How to avoid hell.
Yeah. Yeah. And, okay. Well, so there's a number of ways to attack it. You know, um,
How do you get the stuff? Which Sean is basically what I'm asking.
the stuff
How do you get the golden piece?
you're
How do you
saying.
get
Wait,
how do
are
you
you
get
trying to avoid bad,
well, yeah,
as
you
you
want to get
say,
laid, right?
or
But you don't want a nightmare in your life.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
becomes, which way are you going? Do you want to get married and find that, or do you want to get, a few of them in your stable? Do you have one? Is it better to look for one? Like, what have you
Well,
found?
give me which one you're trying to find, and then I'll give you some advice to get that one. You know what I mean?
True. That's true.
You give me like four different options, but uh,
What's the healthiest that you found?
well, I mean,
Every guy wants a stable. You got stuck on that sentence. Is that what happened?
no, no. I guess I don't. So it depends what your goal is. So give me one goal that the gentlemen that are going to watch this are going to be trying to get.
The one goal that every single dude says that they want is peace.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
I mean, so they want to unplug and have peace and like, I guess peace, nurturing, quiet, the country.
Right. And then the problem is that a lot of the ladies have been watching too many rom-coms and too many TikTok ticks, and you know that's not their goal at all.
Right. Their goal
Mhm.
is give me stuff.
Right.
Not
I
always.
want princess treatment. Well, no. None of this is across the board, but a lot of them will say princess treatment, or um, a lot of them are just in a competition with their other girlfriends to see how many resources they can pull out of
What?
various men.
Really? God dang.
Hmm.
I don't look at it like that. That's funny. That's what I guess
So,
you could look at
so,
it like I'm not selling you.
so some of the things I would say is that that are pretty obvious, but you want to, and you don't want to come in and say, "What's the relationship you have with your father currently?" But you kind of want to feel out like, because you might not get the truth, if you come out with too direct of a question. Because if you ask a question that triggers a woman, then you're not going to get reality. You're going to get the parallel, reality in their head answer that they'll give when triggered, right?
Jeez.
So, but you want to find out what their relationship is
With
with
their
their
father?
with their father.
That's why I'm single. Just kidding. Just
I
kidding.
would-
Ah.
you want to figure out if they had a lot of brothers or if they had a lot of sisters. And if
Oh,
they had a lot of sisters around them, I think that females do a lot of warfare against each other.
they do.
And
Not always,
so
but
if
yeah,
they didn't have any brothers and they had all sisters, then you
they're
have
evil.
to understand that their formative years they were under female warfare.
Wow.
So then you might end up having female warfare
In your
being
life?
put on you. So obviously, in an ideal world, you want a woman who has a great relationship with their father. You want a woman who did not grow up with a bunch of sisters.
True.
And then if you're looking for low problems, you don't want to have a woman that has like a massive clique of girlfriends. Because if they're in a
Yeah,
massive clique of girlfriends, you're not just dating her, you're dating all of her
right.
friends. And she does, and
That's true.
especially when they're younger, they're not going to realize that not all of their clique of girlfriends is actually trying to be helpful to them.
Right,
So if they
right.
attract a lot of male gaze and then they're dating someone, one of their girlfriends is going to try to throw sticks, wrenches, rocks, anything to break up that relationship with you, the man that we're speaking to right now. So you're not just dating her, you're dating her whole clique of friends.
I hate to say that, but that is so true.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in my own life when I have shut up about talking about my private life. It's hard
Yeah.
because we women want to talk. I mean,
Right. Well,
I
and
tell
then I think it's important to establish to make that fact be known, which I think surprises a lot of women. If you're like, hey, if you talk about everything that happens between us, then I'm also dating your girlfriends, at the same time. So do you want that? And then yes, so father relationship, how many sisters? Try to figure out what their if you are considering dating a woman that has a lot of sisters, try to figure out what role she played, like what level of power she was in the sisters.
which one would you want?
That's hard to say because it's all problems.
The top
It's
dog?
all problems. I mean, one of the reasons why we have so many relationship problems in general on both sides is because there's so many single moms. So, there wasn't that masculine presence in the room to settle all
I'm
of the
shut the fuck
nonsense. No, to stop all of the nonsense. So the nonsense or the bullshit or whatever you want to call it would be allowed to proliferate.
because Shrek would yell,
Well, I mean, I don't know about Shrek,
turn
but
into
yeah, same thing also too. If the mother has emasculated the father and she's the
oh
boss,
god,
then it's the
yeah,
same
that
thing as
lot.
having no father in the house. That's why you try to figure out what the relationship is with the father. You know, was
I adopted dads. I have great adopted dads.
yeah, yeah, and so now you're well adjusted. You know,
It's just,
right?
I have people like, I had the dirty daddy that slept with everybody but me, so I have a choose me complex.
um,
I want the dirty stuff. Isn't that terrible? It's not. It's just. It's funny how you have completely different experiences, same
right.
family.
That's why I asked what sister. But
Yeah.
how do you ask that question? That's a tough.
Who diddled you?
Well,
What meds are you on is what I would
yeah, and,
ask.
and then of course, yes, you want to. Then you have to
Yeah.
investigate what meds they're on,
Seriously, for
which
real.
who knows if they're going to be honest or not. And then also, you know, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point if there's any SSRIs, that's just a total mess.
Like
And if
one.
there's any benzos, that's a mess. Everybody knows opiates are a mess. So, yeah, you want to figure out the drugs, the father relationship, the sister relationship, the brother relationship. If, you know, if, basically you want to figure out if there was a masculine presence in their upbringing. Because if there wasn't,
Ugh,
there's
there's a lot in mine.
right. But if there wasn't any masculine presence, then there's going to be more problems too.
Isn't that fascinating? You're like that. These are the questions to ask, like not your sign
Yeah.
or like how big are your titties.
What
You know what I
size are them
mean?
titties? Uh,
Like maybe you should
yeah.
think a little bit. Like, what medications are you
Right.
on? And I've had that of men, and when you first start that, they think that you're on some too. So it's like a little like it's like a
Exactly. There's
club.
so many ways. Obviously, you don't just go.
Oh
I have to
my
mention this because if you're on a first date with a woman, you don't rapid fire all of these questions at her because they're going to go into protect mode. You know, you
start
you might have
lying.
to go on several dates to get all of this information out because you don't want to get like a canned response. You want to get the actual truth, of what it is. Um, yeah, so the drugs, father, the the family life basically. If they're a girl's girl, meaning if they have a ton of girlfriends that they're always,
Yeah.
and of course this is probably the hottest button one, but even my non-political friends have now come to me and said they will not date a liberal. So if they're on
Oh,
the swipey
there.
swipers, if they're on those swipe things and they see liberal, it's an immediate no, irregardless of how attractive she is.
That's a smart move, I
And
would
then
say.
it's like, well, that sounds crazy, Sean, but no, because if you look
Nope.
at the data of
Debate.
happiness, their happiness level is like awful. Yeah, it's at the bottom. And then the problem is, I think it's like 65% of women are liberals. So
Yikes.
there's not a big pool. But if you are going through just worried about cup size and, you know, you know,
Are you gonna get the booty?
right, and all of that, you're gonna have a lot of headaches in your life, that's for sure, because our culture has produced a crop of women that have a lot of problems. Men too, of course, but a lot of problems.
Yeah, the men are turning into the women.
Yeah. But a lot of women, it's pretty easy to spot a beta. They kind of shout it from the rooftop.
This
So
is
if you, if you're a woman looking for a guy, it's very, of course, to a lot of women that are not very aware, it's very attractive to have a beta because they want someone that they can boss around. There's a constant power struggle that women subconsciously do. They try to take the power over and over again, and then some men cave eventually. So it's a constant
I've
onslaught.
witnessed that so many times. I've witnessed that so many
Yeah.
times.
And you can see those guys that have just caved when you see them with their women.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Alec Baldwin in that last viral video where like his fake Spanish wife like tells him to shut up or something. I mean that
Fake Spanish wife. He has a fake Spanish wife now?
yeah, I mean he's had her for a while. She puts on a fake
That's
Spanish accent. She
oh, that's
pretends that
funny.
she's got like that she doesn't know English and has a Spanish accent, but it's for show.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
funny. That's really funny. So, yeah, okay, so you got the beta dudes with they drive me nuts. I do lectures on them, but,
Right.
and then you get the women who are yeah, you're really right. I mean, I hate to say it, but my super liberal friends are not
Mhm.
happy. They're not.
And you
They're not flying around like butterflies happy. They're miserable,
and a young
actually.
gentleman just getting started in the game, of course he's gonna be like, "I could save her."
Oh, the savior
Right.
complex. Right, right,
Right.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then, there's that, but no, You really can't.
A lot of the fellas, obviously, who were talking to me, like older women, they all like I had no idea it was such a thing. It's a real thing.
Mm.
The men in their 20s love 40 and over, like up to 70s,
70s,
honestly.
wow.
They're oh yeah, there's a whole whatever you ever thought about or thought you thought about or wanted to think about, it exists. Is pretty
Mm.
much really the truth. But I find it amazing and adorable and also like, wow, I'm not opposed to this.
Mhm.
The younger men with older women, sign me up.
Yeah.
But they are looking for sometimes many times they've been traumatized by their mom.
Mm.
They had a really like horrible mother and they want to, you know, subconsciously, consciously, probably not totally consciously. It's like a subconscious thing, like the woman who wants the daddy,
Mm.
the one so they it's like I guess they want to conquer the mom maybe, not just they don't want to be coddled necessarily, but I guess it's like they want to take that mom energy or something. Bucket, buck, the fuck.
Hmm.
I guess that's the innate, or we're just better attracted. I mean, more attractive because we're smarter and more fun and better in bed.
Well, I mean, at
Also,
some point, you don't have to worry about pregnancy either. I'm sure that's big
oh,
for
that's
a lot
true.
of guys. Um, yeah, maybe know how to carry themselves, know how to dress in some cases. You know, I'm sure there's.
In some cases,
Well, no, right. I mean,
that's
it
what,
just more, more
right.
experience, more wisdom, right?
More
And
fun.
then I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but I would imagine, you know, after dealing with women that are a total mess over and over again and getting their heart broken, is going in heart first when they're teens or whatever, then they might want to abort on that plan. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you're right. I mean, I can think of one of my buddies, one, long-term friend. Um, yeah, I mean, I'd never heard the term cougar, and he was like, "Cougars, man, I love them." And
That's
then
funny. I'm
I didn't even,
not a
and then
kook.
I didn't even know about this term. He introduced me to it, and then he's like, "You got a grizzly," and I'm like, "What?" Apparently, that's when you're older than a cougar. A grizzly.
That would be my mom.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how old she was, but he got a
Oh
grizzly once. I remember him telling me about that.
my god, that's
So,
funny. A gilf.
yeah, gilf instead of milf.
Oh yeah,
I
because
feel what you're putting down.
I always say I'm a because the cougars are not making lunches.
The cougars and
The cougars, their kids are already, in colleges or
mm,
whatever. MILF is more, we're still making lunches. You ain't got no
mm,
time to be. How are you gonna have the time to be like out with your
mhm.
on the prowl?
Yeah.
You like have to plunge toilets
Maybe
and
that's it
things,
too, is that milfs or gilfs or whatever, they don't have a lot of time, so they're effective and efficient with their time.
This is
And
true.
maybe that's another thing.
That's a great fit. Yeah, it is actually a pretty great fit until, somebody gets their heart broken, or do you worry about that now? You just don't even worry about that now. You just what do you do? What are you doing
You're
out
talking
there in
you're
your
talking
world?
about what you
People. I'm talking about people hooking up with like younger guys hooking up with older women. Some of them they're just doing it for the night,
mm,
for the experience, and then some that it lasts longer. Ultimately, there's like a sadness there because it's like not going to work out, or it might. Hey, you never know.
you never know.
There are stories.
It seems like a total free for all now, right? You
Free
got the
ride. I,
MGTOW movement, men going their own way movement, where
oh
even
wow.
young men that would typically be really chasing women are just like, forget it. It's not worth it. And I know some of the guys that worked for me on my bike business, they were saying that. I mean, I remember
You're
25, 26-year-old guy, and he's like, I don't really mess with women anymore. It's not worth it.
wow. So they're all follow like the Andrew Tate model of like all women are the same. Move out of the cities.
I,
Make money. Buy Lamborghinis. Drink fire
well, I think
power.
it was more
Because I'm
like
not
he's just not trying to date ever. It's just not even on his like, right, because
agenda.
he's already tried. It's just been a total disaster and mess, so he's just shut down to it. And I've read, I don't know if how true it is. I'm sure in some cities it's true, in some cities it's not. But I've read that they're doing singles events, and not enough men are showing up. I mean, when in history has that ever happened until these days? You know?
Yeah, because the men are just
Yeah.
done. The men are just done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the married men I talk to that are the sad sacks, their wife is either like you described, that she's just baited them,
Yeah. Because I mean, look,
and it's painful, or their wife just got, always in a hoodie, always working, always in pain, always like not, in, they're similar but different.
yeah. Yeah, they don't feel good about themselves, so they don't want to be touched or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. And then you get into that rut, and then it's months, and then months, and then it turns into year, and then it's like, what the
Yeah, and then
hell?
like the dude
And
hasn't had sex in 4 years or something, and
yeah,
he's like,
yeah, like
and then
two
he
to
can't
four
get a
years.
divorce because she'll take half or more than half because the system is rigged against men. So
Yeah,
it's,
and then
and then
she
she rules the
doesn't care.
roost. But then once she rules the roost, then she lacks all respect for the man. So then it's a total disaster.
That's why I'm like, my coaching, is always like, y'all, I don't know why you're living together. You need to get naked and hug on each other, and like that needs to go on your schedule.
Hmm. Yeah,
What
but
the
if she
hell?
doesn't have any respect for him, that means she's lost all
Well,
she
getting
no
naked.
longer has a sexual desire for him. If she's betaed him and now she's the boss, that
Mm.
I mean, he's got to where I mean,
Grab her, get her
I
naked,
mean,
make it
yeah, I mean, maybe, right? But
happen.
then, if it's been 2 years that she's been the boss and he's been the beta,
Yeah,
she's not
or
she might
during
not
the so do
respond well to getting tossed into bed either.
this is true, but it's like then there's the woman who stays in her hoodie, you know what I mean? It's like not and gives no love anymore. So it's like, oh, I don't touch her anymore because she never touches me. It's that kind of
Yeah.
thing. That's well, that's both of y'all have to stop having these agreements about them
Well,
yourselves. Like it's a new world
but
right now, right here
this is
today.
most people are stuck in some kind of trauma bond.
Or and routine, like it's the same dang
Hmm.
routine.
Well, like
That's
like
why
in
going out.
like how some people in every situation angle so that they're the victim.
Oh
So if you have
God,
two people
that's so
doing
annoying.
that, it's like
Right.
it's you know in old texts people talk about demonic possession, right? And it's like, oh, it's because of horror movies and comic books or whatever, people have this like over exuberant, you know demonic possession doesn't happen, or it does, and it's a demon, like a literal demon that inhabits you. But bad programming of
Right.
a mind virus, if you want to use
That's
modern
true.
day terminology, let's call it a mind virus. If you have a mind virus where in every situation you turn it into you being a victim, or
You
or
said it,
but
sir.
there's other mind viruses too. There's so many. And some people have a bunch of mind viruses. So
Yeah.
how do you
You're throwing them out. Your mind virus, and also the other one that you said, which is so perfect, is the say it's the real problem in the world is the
are you talking about the global homo death cult? Yeah.
yes, that is the real problem
It's
with the
it's one
tiny
of the
hat
biggest
club.
problems. Yeah, that information
Oh,
just came
God,
out.
so funny.
Yeah.
The tiny hat club with JFK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the
No,
Grok. Well, we can talk about that another time or later, but I want to finish off. Uh,
the men. Yes, please. I appreciate
mhm,
you. 'Cause it's like when you have them with you were saying the mind virus. So when they've got a mind
mhm.
virus.
Yeah, so if they have a mind virus, they're not fully conscious. They're running a program over and over again that's looking to be put into a same type of feeling. So
which is, oh,
They
poor
don't want,
me.
well, I mean, well, there's more mind viruses than just victim mentality, right? Um, so it's not
To be right,
conscious.
men are toxic. That's a thing. The whole men are toxic thing.
Well, I mean, there's
Men
another
are
mind virus of like, for example, how do I put this? Where um, something has happened that was truly shocking and you didn't know how to handle it. So then, no matter what, it's like the know-it-all mind virus. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, I saw that coming. Oh yeah, of course, that's how it is. Or so they're never actually really experiencing what's going on. They're never in the present moment at all because they're still in a state of shock or fight or flight because something that happened 10 years ago. So they're not
interesting.
actually in the moment even when it's happening. So then they can't really connect with a woman at all or anybody when they're in that state.
Or a woman can't connect with a
Right.
dude. So it sounds like the key is, again, going back to your, like, you got to fix it your own self. You got to fix yourself first before you think about putting your doohickey doodly doodle thing into anybody
Well, and
else.
a
And
lot
that,
of people go through life just looking for that trauma bond. So basically the yang to their yin, right? So it's like a puzzle piece that fits together. For example, there's a lot of complainers, right? That all they do is just complain all the time. And
oh
they
yeah,
just want you to commiserate with them. So their program is complaining. So they're going to want to complain a lot and then they need you to commiserate, right?
not gonna do
Right,
it.
but that's,
But
but if
yeah, then they
if
find
you're
each
both
other
stuck in
level.
that mode, then you can get together and date somebody for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, 20 years, and then like what's happened over that time? It's just you've commiserated.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you actually doing? How are you building?
Right.
What are you?
Right.
Yeah. That's what I love. I love watching all those men make stuff and build stuff, and it just makes me personally sad. I'm not sad in the bad way, but I just like, how can I help more? And not like, a lot of dudes hit me up because they wanna like date me, and it's like, well, that's not gonna happen. First of all, they're you know what I mean? Too, but I wanna actually help because I genuinely
Well,
care. And it's like, well, first of all, fix your nervous system, like you said, like get yourself centered.
mhm.
And I always tell them about your Regenerate. Plus, I think that they need to have Regenerate in their cabinet for their crazy girlfriends.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference to get centered, to use something that calms down the nervous system like Regenerate.
That
I
stuff's
mean, yeah,
amazing.
like you've you've said it
There.
you've
Definitely
said it
one.
before, and I've heard it from other people too that take it. It's like being high without being high. Which I originally
Yeah.
didn't like that description, but I get what they're saying. You have the clear-headedness, but without the stupidity
Kind of like
of like a microdose of mushrooms
yeah.
or yeah, like and who knows how to do this with marijuana, but like the perfect tiniest bit of amount where you're just relaxed, but you're
Right.
not impaired in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. That's what they're saying. It's like high without being high. Yeah. Um,
And then you get hot.
yeah. Yeah.
It's actually
Literally,
great with
maybe figuratively, but certainly literally,
yeah,
you get hot.
I think you figuratively and literally get hot, like, because you get calm.
Right.
And when you get calm, then it like, you're hotter when you're calm, not freaking the
Right.
hell out.
Yeah, you as a
So
man, if you're a man and you're masculine and you come across a female and her feminine, you want to be the mountain that the emotional waves of the feminine can crash against.
that's hot. So that's just not, dealing with a tornado,
Well,
hurricane.
yeah, I mean, if you find a
You know,
woman that's in her masculine, they're generally a tornado. Yeah, which
makes sense.
it's gonna be tough not to get swept up in a tornado.
Right.
If she's in her feminine, yeah, it's waves of, you know, conflict or weight. It's not a tornado. It's, you know, it will come, no doubt,
Dude.
and then
A tornado
No,
will
no, a
come.
wave
That's funny.
of emotions will come from a woman in her feminine for sure,
Yeah.
you know, with the cycles of the moon or the cycles of whatever cycles. But, you know, the masculine is the mountain that the waves of the feminine can crash into.
Lucky
But
him.
then the problem is most women nowadays, because they have a sales job, are in their masculine,
I know it
you
well.
know, and you're struggling because, you know, what a, you know, feminist movement off the gold standard, and now everybody needs to work,
Yeah. And then
which is a
also, yeah,
very new thing. It's only the last 55 years that that's been the case. So all the way up to
aren't
that
we?
point in like the history of humans, it has
Right.
not been like that.
So that was also part of a war move on us.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that funny when you start dissecting all of that and actually looking at it? It kind of does piss you off, or hopefully does piss you off. Like you're like, how do I get
It
out of
was by
that little
design to
web?
destabilize the global superpower.
Yeah, which is America.
Yes.
You know what though? You can't take America down. Good
We
luck.
got too
Good
many
luck.
guns.
Good luck with
Yeah.
it. I believe in America, and
Well,
I've been
it
traveling.
it only
Well,
takes 15%. Like
to
if
awaken people.
15% of your population hasn't been propagandized and hasn't been poisoned, you got to get it down to like 95% to
They're
oh
trying
yes.
to get there,
They're trying, but I
but
think they overplayed their hand in 2020 with the pandemic. And now, I mean,
everything's being
how
revealed.
do
Did you see that JFK wrote a thing? You are a traitor to Biden.
yeah. Well, but I mean, a 29-year-old Biden, there's a video of him being interviewed and being asked about corruption, and he smirks and goes, "How do you know I'm not corrupt?" At 29, when he was his first
Yikes!
term congressman. And just that
Yikes!
smirk that he hits the guy with, and that mindset, it's just like, wow, okay. Wow, it was like that. But that's the thing, it's been like that for so long.
Right,
Corruption isn't new. It's been the backbone. There's more money in the black market than there is in the white market. And I'm not talking about
right,
racist. I'm talking
right.
about, you know, there's more money in things that are illegal than legal. And when you look into all these banks that have helped people do illegal operations, it's massive. They're in cahoots
Right.
with the people that are doing illegitimate things.
So, speaking of money,
Mhm.
another thing with the fellas that I noticed that is that they do better than the women. And maybe you can talk on that, or I'll get you to talk on that. Please talk on
You're
that.
talking about
Is your money?
money?
Is your money,
Hmm.
and how you are making sure that you are covered, that you're taken care of. You're not like out hunting for some girl. You're building your
Hmm.
money coffers. You're taking care of businesses, as opposed to I see a lot of people who are like they're chasing a person as opposed to their dream
Hmm.
or their purpose. I see more men chasing or actually giving up. I see more men giving up. Like you said, they just kind of like throw their hands up and they're focusing on, building their little cabin in the woods or trying to find their escape route or,
Surviving.
you know, building their like coffers, bags of crypto or something, like
Hmm.
they're hustling, hustling,
Right.
hustling. I see. So they're hustling. I feel like I kind of want to tell them, like, I'm not kind of, I mean, I am telling them that that's good. Like they're doing such a good job. I just wish they had a good, healthy woman I could put in
Well,
there.
that's the problem. It's, you know,
You know?
back in the day before we were propagandized and the moves that were made were designed to rip the fabric of the country apart. That's why they
It,
did it.
it,
But
it
yeah, so to have a feminine and a masculine aligned to achieve a goal together, it's very potent because the bit of nudge, the bit of um, the the help that comes from just the masculine and the feminine being aligned in a common goal pushes the masculine further. So it is, but again, circling back to what we just said, there's so few women that are in their feminine. You're not getting that when you match up. And then, of course, someone who listens to this could be like, well, you have to be the man and put her into her feminine. Okay, well, how many drugs is she on? How many Starbucks coffees does she drink per day? How many years will it take her to detox from the stuff that she's put in her body that's poisoned through the pharmaceutical corporations, the health, wellness, and beauty, all the makeup and all the heavy metals? And if you have a ton of heavy metals in your body, your brain is not going to work right. So, it's not just about being a masculine presence and then the woman in her masculine is not going to immediately go to her feminine. That's something that she
Right.
has to work on.
No,
She has to work.
doesn't
It's what?
right. A lot of times the women don't know. Like for myself, I was like, what?
Well,
Like I was just getting stuff done. You know what I mean? And you're totally workaholic and you got to work it because nobody else is showing up.
yeah. And
You want to be in your feminine, believe me. Like I'm the woman in my feminine now that looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, nobody ever pulled me down and sat me down and told me
yeah,
this.
but it's not
You know?
easily described and understood. And if you were in your masculine from a young girl, you wouldn't you don't know because you've been in fight or flight stress. I'm not saying you, but a woman since
I
being a
was.
young girl, it sounds ridiculous. It's like, I'm a woman. What are you talking about? I'm feminine. It's like, no,
Nope.
no. There's, you know, I guess one thing to it's like how do you go about getting things done? You know what I mean? Is there a frantic energy and a very like I need this done now, and this there's a time and a place for that, but there's also a way to get things done with honey instead of vinegar, right? And in past eras when women were in their feminine, and if they weren't, they were called a witch. If we go way back, right? Um, they knew how to get what they needed. They just didn't do it through the masculine ways. They did it through feminine ways.
Right. Like we forgot
Right.
that because we've been having to, dress like a man and be in the corporate offices and move up and be.
Be in sales where you have to meet, I don't know how many people per day or how many cold calls but that's, if you're traveling the country or if you're traveling a 4 or 5 state area, in sales, like I don't see how there's a lot of space to be in the feminine. Or if you're a realtor, I mean,
Right.
maybe. I mean, it just depends how you have everything set up for sure. But yeah, you know, it's in 1971 with the feminist movement, nobody wants a boss or a man in their masculine or you know, and instead they chose to have multiple bosses over their life that really don't care because you're only hired for just a few years in your job.
Oh, as opposed to you're equating like having a boss be your
Yeah.
husband.
And it's not a
Some women
boss,
would
but you have to get what you need or through femininity, not through, you know, masculinity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally new thing to like sit in. I just didn't know the terms honestly until before I met you of like being in your parasympathetic nervous system and calm and like you're breathing and making decisions, not in like, because I was in the get up at 2 in the morning, go to bed at no, go to bed at like 2 and get up at 3 kind of thing. Like you're working on no sleep, you're first to set, last to leave. Like it's like
Hmm.
a hamster on the wheel. Like that's where I was.
Yeah, and then you're probably relying on caffeine or, whatever
Yep,
stimulant
totally.
you can,
A
yeah,
cigarette.
whatever stimulant you can get to you know. And when you're
Calm yourself
stimulated
in.
and when you're in a sympathetic dominant state, it also shuts down your feelings. So then if you're overstimulated, sympathetic dominant, I mean, how can you be in your feminine if you're not grounded in feelings and you're not, you know, the reason why that was built in is because y'all take care of the kids.
Right.
So you
So you
need
separate the
extra
people from the family.
empathy, you need, you know,
Oh, I thought I was talking about the war move. I thought you were talking about the war move. That's why it, like, putting women into their masculine ruined the family too,
right.
or messed with the dynamics, obviously. And yeah, and then you get the kids that are raised by the state.
Well, yeah, or latchkey kids, like, a big generation was latchkey in the 80s because both parents had to go to work because of the decoupling from the gold standard.
But you're evil, and we want to take down patriarchy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Adelisha Ackland, one of the wealthiest women in the world, had a 177-acre estate in the 1850s, about a mile and a half from my house.
Oh, right. I've heard
Yeah,
that
what
story of that lady.
patriarchy, you know? I mean, I yeah,
That's the indoctrination that takes women down a path of being talking puppets for men are toxic. We need to take it down,
sure.
stay away from men,
I
beta the men. I actually was around a bunch of feminists this weekend,
mm,
and I was like, I just could my mouth is on the floor. I was just like, "So what are y'all doing here? Like, what's the big occasion?" They're like, "Oh, we were at a
mhm,
rally." They were at a rally anti-Elon in this teeny little country
mm.
town. And I was like, "Anti-Elon, so what are you speaking about?" And she's like, "That he's taking jobs, he's an unelected official, and he's taking people's jobs." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, what else are you doing?"
A $2 trillion
Just
dollar
because
yearly deficit, and
yeah, I know.
we're, billions of dollars going to doing trans surgery on rodents. Hello, that can be canceled. There's so much
Yeah,
garbage like that that
yeah.
needs to be
But why
canceled.
can't you see why they can't see that, I think it goes back to the indoctrination and the programming. And then the next
It's
sentence was,
nihilistic too, because when you're in a sympathetic dominant state, you're like the Joker. You're a nihilist. You're so stressed. You're not looking forward to having
"Oh, right."
children or having the next generation because you're under
Well,
duress. That sounds crazy to have another generation.
funny that you say that because the older women were all lesbians and the younger woman was not, but she just had her tubes tied.
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa. And then she went in, I just know I don't want babies and I know I don't want to live that life. Plus, don't like men. Men are terrible. Men are toxic, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
and
blah.
she'll be lesbian in, a few more years.
And then she has a side hustle that she does where she's a dominatrix,
Of course.
where she
Right.
betas
Right.
men.
So she has zero respect for men and, you know,
Isn't that
nervous
crazy?
system
That's so crazy.
destabilized because she's tied her, tubes and hangs out with a bunch of lesbians
Yeah,
who, you know, no
yeah.
disrespect to lesbians, but if you want to talk about the craziest group of people you can possibly be around, if you're around vegan lesbians, oh my God,
Oh God.
the crazy ideas that they have,
Vegan
vegan
lesbians.
lesbians,
You
oh
know
my God,
what's funny though? They were all eating this big pretzel,
of
and
course.
they kept, like, taking pieces of it, and they're eating the pretzel, and then one of the younger one goes, "Oh," and they had pulled it into the shape of a penis and balls, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't wanna eat it now."
But
I was like,
subconsciously, the lesbian shaped a phallic
"That
device or
was just
phallic
so
food.
funny.
That's not
Isn't that
surprising.
funny? I just thought it was so
Yeah, and
funny.
and
But I was like,
Carl Jung, I'm sorry to cut you up, but Carl Jung has that you've heard of animus, right? Yeah.
yes.
So the old
He's great, Carl Jung. That's like a sit and think about that for a while.
yeah, not to continue to shit on lesbians, but why not? Um, Jung believes that animus and also Eckhart Tolle or Eckhart Tolle, they talk about
Totally.
if you are in your sympathetic dominant nervous system, which means your stressed nervous system, it leads to animus. So a man that's super stressed goes into a feminine state. A woman that's super stressed goes into a masculine state. So what's the
Wow.
ultimate expression of that?
Pegging.
Yeah, you go right to pegging. Oh, is that the no, no, the ultimate expression would be to chop your dick off and say that you're a woman, or to chop your breasts off and
Oh,
say
right,
that you're a
right,
man,
right.
because you've been in a masculine
God.
or a feminine mode for so long that seems
Right.
like sanity. You have to mutilate yourself to because you're in such a bad state. But Eckhart Tolle talks about it. If you spend too much time in the stressed nervous system, it leads to madness. Jung talks about it, it leads to animus, and the ultimate expression of animus is, of course, the trans movement. So, what we have going on here, folks,
Yeah.
is a stress level problem. We don't need
For
to know what's
real.
happening on the other side of the world. No one needs to know what's happening in Ukraine other than the people that can actually make a decision that influences Ukraine. And that's how it was for years and years and years.
And now it's like we're ultra stressed in our little fish
Well,
bubble.
there's just because there's no reality anymore. There's only the marketing that the majority have been marketed to and have accepted that marketing.
That's true. So coming back to the men, who I think are actually ahead of the game with the women, not that it's competition, but they can turn around and save the women, is how I see it. Because
I think
they're
that the elder women need to save the women.
oh, okay, well, I'm getting there.
Because well I mean elder, I mean what's an elder could be 35, an elder could be 40. If you're talking to a
Right.
15-year-old, an elder's 25, right?
Yeah, what I will give you some excitement, which you know this about my own kid who's 10.
Mhm.
That generation is aware.
Yes. When you get
That's
super young, when you get sub like 25, some of those women grew up curious before so they know what it's like to be calm. They know what it's like to be in their girl energy or their feminine energy, and
yep.
they have that experience. So they've read the pertinent information and they understand what's going on because the information is out there even for the 50-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, the 30-year-olds. They just have been in their marketed bubble of whichever generation they were, whether they were the Facebook generation, the MySpace generation, the Snapchat generation, the TikTok generation, whatever was most pushed mass market, whatever marketing they accepted as their reality. That's a generation.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
true.
about the decades, it's
But I
about coming of age. Millennials are millennials because they came of age at the millennium. But who came of age during the big wave of Snapchat? Who came of age during the big wave of Facebook? Who came of age during the wave of
mhm.
MySpace? The wave of TikTok? That's a generation now.
So how do we like so heal, quantum heal fast, make them aware really fast? Because the men, the most of the men I talk to are working men.
Mm.
So I feel like they're already ahead of the game. They get sunlight day in the early morning because they get up at like 3, 4 in the morning. Those guys. I'm talking like construction workers, masons, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, no one's helping a man. Like,
The man's helping
right,
himself.
no one's helping a man, and you can't, y- and you know that, because you're not getting help, right? But a woman who's, of average attractiveness can get help from a lot of different sources. There's a lot of simpy guys that will give them money for photos or will give them money because they know exactly how to whine or how to cry or how to, you know, act to get to
Yep.
extract what they want. So it's men are more on it just because they have no other choice.
Yeah, and usually have nobody
Right.
too. They have zero
Right.
people. And so I'm saying, to if they're listening, to get their nervous system balanced, and how do you do that?
Mm.
And get, you know, that's why I wrote the book Meat, Milk, and
Mm.
Men. Like, it really boiled down to meat, milk, and men for me. So, like, meat, you change the way you're, eating. I went carnivore for the most part. I'm dirty carnivore, really. And then
Dirty
milk,
carnivore, you.
I am dirty carnivore. And then the raw
Mm.
milk on so many levels, because it's like, for me, the raw milk was changing, like only doing raw dairy. But then that will open your mind to the lies of the grocery store
Hmm.
once you see that. And then for me, it's men, is like, just start listening and looking at men who are doing cool shit in their work, in their lives, which you are.
Thank you. But your question was how to get. What was the question?
But yeah, how can they elevate faster knowing that? Like, what are the steps
Mm.
that they can elevate even faster, getting into their balanced nervous
Mm.
systems? If they already are getting sun, so they're getting sun.
And you're talking about women or men?
I'm talking to the men.
How do they get more balanced? I think the fastest route um, is the breath. I mean, think about Yahweh. Yahweh. It's kind of sounds like breathing. Yahweh. So the you know you can center yourself simply through breath. Focusing on the exhale, extending the exhales would be would be the best way to get into a parasympathetic dominant state. Now, obviously, if you're on 800 milligrams of caffeine, it's going to be quite hard to just sit there and focus on the exhales because the mind is going to be going in a ton of different directions. And then, if you have a lot of people have that constant chatter in their head where they have a voice that's
Mhm.
constantly in their head, and then a lot of people think that that's who they are, is the voice in their head. But the voice in their head is the marketing, it's their father, it's their mother. It's not them. They are the area in between when the mind is
Mhm.
silent, when it has no chatter. And some people have never experienced a state with no chatter.
I know some of those
Right.
people.
And then some of those people think that the people that can get to a state with no chatter are stupid. And, there's the intellectual brain, and then there's the knowingness of the one consciousness, right? And
Yeah.
people that have never stepped out of the voice in their head, they've never stepped out of the intellectual, and that's all that they think exists. So they're missing at least half of existence. But I
That
think the
makes sense.
fastest way to it is to breathe, and then you have to eliminate the things that are inhibiting you breathing and staying calm and getting into a meditative state. So that would be the caffeine. That would be anything that destabilizes you, that like becomes a need, right? So if
Yeah.
if like you're just absolutely
Video game.
jonesing for a beer by 3:30 p.m. every day, or wake up needing a beer because you got to bite the dog that bit you, you know
Oh, or you can't move without the coffee,
right,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
so
Cigarette or whatever it is. So
right,
the thing,
right,
the
when you're
video
jonesing
game. I
for
need.
something, or when you're so unsettled. And yeah, the video game, maybe, I mean, I've never been really into video games, but if you have to play 2 hours of video games to calm yourself down because you need that many adrenaline hits from the zombie attacking you, or whatever, before you exhaust that. This is why guys do cold showers and cold plunges, because it'll dump all of that adrenaline to heat your body, so that now you're not constantly getting doses of adrenaline all day. You still are,
Right.
because you need adrenaline to live, But instead of just getting massive doses of it because you dumped it all in the morning in a cold tub, now you're calmer all day, every day.
Crazy.
So,
I do standing in the cold shower, and I don't do it for 7
mm,
minutes like you said you told me you did.
yeah,
Woohoo.
I mean, I haven't done
But
that in a while, but I did for a year do daily cold showers to Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin.
no way,
Hmm.
really? God bless you. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, because I knew it was
They'll
7
get you breathing.
minutes. So I was like,
Cold cold showers will get you breathing.
yeah, yeah,
These
for sure. And that's again, that's the power of the cold. But when it gets down to the nuts and bolts of it, it's actually breath control, I believe.
Hi, you all,
If
Jean
like
says.
if somebody, if you're about to give a speech and you're destabilized, right? And you're, when the adrenaline is flowing, your respiration rate is going to go higher, right? So you're breathing in and out faster, in and out faster. So the ability to slow down your own breathing, to recenter yourself comes from practice. And in the cold shower, cold tub, you get that practice. Or some people go into the cold shower, cold tub and just, oh my God, and they breathe super rapidly and they never try to calm themselves down. And I mean, yeah, that dumps their adrenaline, but they're not really practicing the breath when they're doing that.
Which is the whole point.
Well,
Right, right, right.
you're still getting a benefit even if you're freaking out in the cold tub for 3 minutes, you're dumping your adrenaline because your body wants to keep you warm.
So other things to do to like start the process of cleaning up your act on the road, for example, is things like grab a beef jerky instead of the hoagie. Start eating meat instead
Well,
of the quick sandwich, the
if you want to
pizza.
take it into food, yeah, because you'll Jones for carbs, because carbs have
Right,
an opiate like effect for the brain. So, if they're eating a hoagie and then they're destabilized 2 hours after the hoagie and they get another hoagie, or then they masturbate. You know what I mean? If they're always in a state of destabilization, looking for stability, that's when you're always in the state of need, which,
right.
regenerate does help with this as well. So when
Yeah.
you get into the state where you're not in a state of need, which regenerate will give to you, then you can make better decisions rather than getting the hoagie or, doing the
But you
masturbation.
just have to wait for that 10 minutes. So it's that waiting period before you jump into the thing.
Yeah, well, yes, you can do it that way without the regenerate, because whenever that craving or that you're destabilized and I need to play that video game, or I need to eat that
What I
hoagie. I don't want to eat that hoagie.
whatever.
I want to, be a better eater and feel better. Yes, it's like a 10-15 minute thing if you center yourself, and then you can make better decisions, right? For the
You can have regenerate, but
regenerate,
it takes
you can also take it
10
on a
minutes.
schedule where if you do it when you first wake up and then you do it like at lunch, or then you do it right before bed, or more than like it would be morning and like 4 p.m., because it does last a long time, and then right before bed, you don't ever get to the point where you're in that state of need. So you're more
Right, right.
conscious the whole time.
More of that.
Hmm?
I want some more because I need to travel. I want another
Yeah,
one. My mom swears she bought it, but she's like,
she
"Oh God,
definitely did
she
not.
didn't." I know, I
Um,
know. Oh
and I
God,
will send you out another one. Um,
so good.
yeah,
But the point is, these dudes, I tell them about regenerate all the time. So if they start regenerate, they change how they're eating. This goes for us too, Gene. Like it goes that the list of basically sun. It's really simple, like getting sun or red light, moving your body, doing some kind of breath work, which I also call spiritual work, and then sleep.
hmm, yeah, sleep's huge, because if you have a bad night of sleep, you're destabilized and you're going to be in this state of need. You're going to need that hoagie. You're going to be in a state of unease with poor sleep.
Regenerate helps with the sleep really a lot.
It's been proven through a lot of watch wearers and biometric wearers to double REM sleep.
It's amazing.
It wasn't
I love
designed
that.
for
Well,
that, but that's what all my watch wearers and ring wearers, and not over time, on the first dose,
that,
like the very
yeah,
first dose,
that's
taken an hour
awesome.
before bed will double the REM sleep.
Yeah. See, I need some more because I want to show that to some more people,
Mm.
and because I wanted to share like the quick ways to like jumpstart your evolution into awareness. And you can't get into awareness and get out of the propagandized poisoning if you're still propagandized and poisoned. So it's like, what are your first steps? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
It, it,
Get calm,
yeah.
open your
What are
mind.
your first steps to gain awareness? It's like questions that the young monk asks the monk, right? Because it's kind of hard to describe being in a state of awareness versus in a state of reaction when you've only ever experienced being in a state of reaction. I mean, Eckhart Tolle has
Exactly.
written books, multiple books on this topic, and there's a lot of books about this, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with. But the marketing and the society is set up because it's profitable to have you destabilized.
Stressed
So
out.
that's
Yeah.
what the aim of everything is to have you destabilized.
I have a dream, and I'll tell you, I dream of having little delicious bites for the fellas, like at nighttime, like eat this little morsel at bite, like think like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something, and have like a really delicious little bite of something, but it's got regenerate in it. It's got all the good stuff in it to make you sleep. And then the next one is all the good stuff in it to,
Yeah.
in the middle of the day, take this little bite just to
Yes.
kick in the butt to do it.
I know, but I also have to mention that it's ridiculous that grown ass men need gummies like children. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's it's you can mix it in 8 ounces of water. The reason why it doesn't taste good is because there's nothing in it that's not good for you. I'm speaking of Regenerate now.
You're like Andrew
Just
Tate.
take get a
Andrew Tate's
ten
a fire.
get a $10 mixer from Amazon. There's a rechargeable one for $10.95. You put it in 8 ounces of water, spin it until it's spun up, until
Not
it's not
clumpy.
clumpy,
Yeah.
and no more than 3 gulps, it should be gone. So you just turn it up, down 3 gulps, and then within 15 minutes, you're
Stuff is
you're
amazing. And you
calm.
know what?
Now, that's not to say that you are now going to be um, in a meditative state, but it knocks you many levels down in the sympathetic dominant state. So I'm not saying that it'll instantly put you in a parasympathetic state, but it gets you where you can actually get there.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
And for some, it will
100.
immediately put you in a parasympathetic dominant state.
Did
Yeah.
me. I was like, well, that was amazing. I want to do it again for a couple of months because I did it for like 5 months straight and then took a big chunk of time off.
A-
Just like, oh, how's it like living like
And
this?
we talked about it too. If you remember, I said like it's not designed that you have to take it forever. Like
Right.
you'll notice that you still kept that calm after you
Yep.
went off of it. Now, then life and marketing and propaganda, and then you'll feel like you're more destabilized. It's like after a period of months you can feel like, "Oh, I really I could use some more of that."
Yeah, I want some more of it. Yeah.
And then maybe you got to do another multi-month cycle, or maybe then you just always keep it in the cupboard, and you know, you do it just for the REM sleep boost, and then when you're having a particularly stressful day.
Also, I wanted it
So it
in the
doesn't become it's not a 3 time a day thing all the time. But yes, when you're in an acute problem where you can't find center, then yes, 3 times a day on Regenerate it'll really cool off your nervous system so that you can get it under control.
So true. Really does work.
Hmm.
So that's really, get regenerate is really and I want another bottle too, because I want a bottle in the car for people that I talk to. And it's like, oh, yeah, I have some.
Oh yeah.
Because I've got a lot of those little travel packs still. And I'm like, yeah, I need another bottle for that. But
Yeah.
it's great. So I was sharing ways with the fellas to not get depressed and anxiety ridden again by the fact that there was a war move on us and the fact that the women are so messed up, but instead rise up. Instead, find some more purpose, get your breathing on, like focus on
Mhm.
a new project, go get the land still, even though you don't have your lady.
Well, yeah, there's no reason. I mean, look, since forever, it's been about 40%, 40% of males reproduce, 90% of women reproduce. That's just kind of the way it's always been.
40-90, you said?
Yeah. Yeah. So just keep in mind, you know, there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of reasons. So it's things that are going on now are exacerbating the problems,
Yeah, no shit.
but it's still historically been 40-90. So, you have to put in effort as a man, and not every man is 6'4" and, with a granite jawline, right? So
Thank God.
obviously those guys have an easier time of getting into that 40%. So
Oh God, poor fellas. So
I mean, I think it's poor everybody, because I don't think women want to be in their masculine,
no.
but that's all that they know.
Yep.
So they don't, so they're in a state of Eckhart Tolle would say that they're in a state of madness.
100,000%. And if you try to talk to them, they go into raving lunatic psycho poo poo.
Hmm.
And also the
And it,
place.
and it flies, and now in the 70s that wouldn't have flown.
Oh, you'd get smacked.
I
Is that what
mean,
you would say?
probably,
By somebody,
probably.
maybe even grandma. No,
Yeah.
grandma can't even do
Maybe
it.
by grandpa, grandma, or grandpa, or their father,
Grandma can't even do
or or whatever man they disrespected at the grocery store too. I mean, people used to be a lot more savage. We're living through the lowest testosterone era of humans
true, but
ever.
we're also in psycho land. By the way, side note, did you see that somebody was arrested for killing a dude on a bridge? I think it was in Boston, but they caught him. He killed the dude with an axe and then was eating his brain and his eyeball.
Okay.
Like we are in zombie. I was like, see, we're in zombie times. It is the zombie. Here we are in
Hmm.
zombie times. People are
Well,
crazy losing it. You see how people are just randomly stopping and freezing and not moving? Have you seen this?
mm-mm.
It is the weirdest thing. And it's just like they're like stuck. They're like this, like they'll just be in the middle of something and they'll just be like stuck. And then there's people who like have the freak out, the blue haired girls that are screaming at stuff. There's that.
Hmm.
And then there's people killing you and eating your brain and your eyeball. We are in like we it was never a better time than right now to hook up with each other and get your plot of land out in the country.
Well, one of the things too that it's a third rail nobody wants to talk about. But
Jesus.
there are areas of the world where people don't have water, they don't have electricity, they don't have homes.
Talking about
They,
North Carolina.
yeah, well, yeah, North Carolina now,
Yeah.
but there's many places where their offspring of multi-generational of living like that are now being forced to move to cities. So if you have to remember that there are people that are being forced to move to cities that their entire family have been hunter gatherers and lived off the land and have no idea
About a city.
about a city. And you can say that everybody's created equal. That's fine if you want to live in that world. But some people are afraid of snakes. Some people aren't afraid of snakes. It's like wired into them. They just, as soon as they see a snake, they freak out. Now, if they're aware, they can calm back down and then deal with that snake, but they can't help that they immediately freak out when that snake happens.
Yeah.
People that have grown up in cities and have been in cities since the 1600s, right? Like my ancestry came over on the Mayflower.
Right.
Then
Wow.
other people's ancestry came over, you know, from a farm.
Rowboat.
Well, right, but then even people that came over on the Mayflower, they could be in eastern Kentucky in the mountains, warring with other clans for the last 300 years.
Yeah.
And now they're just entering the city for the first time. So the point is when this happens, it's like, not everybody's on the same culture.
No.
If your ancestry had to fight to keep your cattle alive because the neighboring clan that lives, down the way steals your cattle every winter when they don't manage their cattle and they run out of food, those people are war people. They're ready to brawl. They're ready to fight.
And then you put them in a city.
And then you put them in a city.
And then you have this movie called Idiocracy.
Well, that's pretty clearly already happened. I mean,
I know.
you know what? I was talking to somebody. I was like, so if somebody were wearing blue pajamas and Crocs, would you take them seriously?
What's the color have to do with anything?
Okay, no, forget the color.
Just
Someone is wearing pajamas and Crocs.
yeah, and they've got a little teeny hammer.
And
No.
I mean, whatever they have, but they're wearing pajamas and Crocs. Like, does that make you feel like they're...
No.
Well, that's what nurses and doctors wear.
That's funny.
It's like people know that there's bad mechanics out there. They know that cost me $3,000 and they didn't fix it. The car's still broken, but everybody thinks that everyone in pajamas and Crocs, they're all like top of their class and can believe everything they say. It's crazy.
That's really funny. You want to hear the funniest, the funny of the day that my kid told me that I was like, oh my God, you win. You ready? A kangaroo is a deer that went to prison. Once you see
Because they got cuffed up or something, so
yeah,
they can't.
once you see pictures of kangaroos, that they're really they're jacked up. They're
They're
like
jacked, yeah.
and you see it and you're like, oh my God, it is a deer that went to prison.
And learned how to operate on their hind legs and
Woo! Anyway, we
Put a-
come full circle.
put a pouch in for the contraband.
That's true. Oh, that's so funny. So
You know they get drugs into the prisons.
how? The
You know
admin
those
nurses.
football games? There you flick the football.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just flick the football over fences or under fences into the yard, and then people pick up the footballs.
Oh, never heard that one.
And you flick them.
I heard the admins. I did make a prison movie,
It's a boxing movie.
Not a boxing movie.
It's not a boxing movie.
But
Yeah. I sent that to Mike, who was asking all the questions
cool.
on the last live.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I just told him it was a boxing movie.
I love it. It's a prison boxing movie. True story. See it. Dare you.
You got a golfing movie and a boxing movie. You're a sports movie gal.
I need the third one. Everything comes in 3, so
Yeah, what would be the sport?
it's something obscure like javelin or something. You know what I mean? Don't do like football. Has there ever been a good soccer movie? I don't know.
What about Duck Hunters?
Duck Hunters, save the Duck Hunters
I don't know if you got to save them, but
from the liberal women. I told you that story, right? I told you that when I was in the Zoom. That's actually pretty funny. That sums it up talking to the fellas, and I'll be like, "You're such a good boy." So I'm in a Zoom, and it was a nonviolent communication Zoom, nonviolent communication course, and we were done. There's a whole bunch of women in it. It was all the little boxes, and it
Mhm.
was done. I'm friends with the lady who put it on, and there was 4 of us left. It was me, the lady teaching the nonviolent communication course, a Reiki master, and an art teacher. And at the end, the
That's
disaster, this teacher,
that sounds awful, that blend, but go ahead.
the the teacher, the nonviolent teacher,
Mhm.
like was done. We're done, and she's like, "Oh, that was so great." And we're all like, "You did the great job. It was awesome." Blah blah blah. She's like, "Great. Now that that's done, can we just all take a minute and do like a meditation and a prayer because the duck hunters are back on the lake across the street? Can we just see that they die or break their legs?"
Mhm.
That's what she said. Can we just visualize that they die or they break their legs? And I'm in my box up here in the Zoom. I was like, huh?
Mhm.
And I was like, what do you say to that? And the Reiki master goes, okay, well, maybe we can just picture that they hurt themselves so that they're unable to hunt. And the art teacher was like this. She's like, and I lean in. I was like, what am I gonna say? I just go, I like duck.
Hmm.
And
It's delicious.
they go, oh, we do too. We just don't like duck hunters. I'm like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
like to eat duck.
Yeah.
Because like you gotta,
Right.
and,
And
and and they're like, we do too. We just don't like those hunters. I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, and then it's like,
what?
to look,
What?
men are more logical than women, that's just a fact, right?
Oh God.
And and it's just when you hear stuff like that, you're just like, really?
But this is the nonviolent communication course leader.
But okay,
Well,
even put that aside, even put that comedy aside,
it's like,
but to not even understand that to eat the duck, they have to be killed.
that's why I was like, I like to eat duck.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's
just the
good.
dissidence, the lack of
Yeah.
just
Well,
basic thinking process. Just the basic thinking process of
gone.
how was there a divide there?
Not there.
And
And then
that's but that's a very common thing.
no shit.
And it's on both sexes, but it's,
It's like,
there's one sex that it's a bit more common on.
well, I said, I was like, what's amazing is if anything ever happened to like, you need to peel back your judgments because if anything ever happened to any of y'all on that lake, you know who's going to save your ass? Those hunters. Too
Mhm.
bad they're dead and they can't use their legs because you meditated.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell?
And
I
then
mean,
the whole, I don't need no man, men are trash. We don't need
what?
men for shit. A woman can do anything. Well, who paved the road? Who wired the electric? Who laid the pipe for the running water?
Those fellas that need my
I
hot
can tell
mom.
you, I can tell you it was who it wasn't. You know, it's like it's just so narrow-minded
They
and
have no clue. Just no
yeah.
clue. Also, they have no clue and they need to be educated. Seriously, people. My family are wilderness people. They're hunters. My cousin was the first episode of Naked and Afraid. Like these are people that like they can go out and kill something and make a wardrobe out of it and shoes, like that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Hunters are conservationists. They're out there protecting the environment way more than you driving your eco car
Mhm.
and being. It's amazing. Like you just didn't understand that. Like that's actually who keeps your wilderness going and like protects the world or the hunters. Whoa!
The majority of the majority of there's a reason why the majority of liberals have a lower life satisfaction and are often on more drugs and more depressed. When you live in shame, guilt, depression, all these lower level emotions, the reason why governments like to keep their people there, is because being angry is a higher vibration than all of those vibrations. So then you give the population or the people that you've propagandized a reason to be angry.
Something to be angry about.
And because they're in that such a low vibration, they're not going to look into
Why?
how I eat the duck that I eat. They're just instantly angry at the duck hunter or instantly angry at Elon Musk, who just saved a bunch of
Oh my God.
astronauts that Biden said that he couldn't save, but everybody's got to deface their Teslas now and light them on fire now. It's
It's
because
actually,
they're still not thinking because they're in anger, which is still one of the lowest emotions and vibrations that you can have is anger. But anger feels so much better than depression, shame, guilt. It all of them will trade for anger. So when you get people in that state, whether it's through medication or propaganda, you just got to flash up something for them to be angry about, and they're gone. They're
yeah,
they're they're
yeah,
on it. They're on it because it feels so good to be mad.
but better than being depressed. And there a lot
Right.
of people are depressed who like have bought that whole I hate Trump pill because
Right.
now they think, oh my gosh, we're so depressed because all of our rights are gone and we have nothing now. And you're just like, did you go outside? Did you see what's
Mhm.
happening? Are you like aware at
But
all?
January 19th, you had it all. But now, 2 months later, it's all gone. I see.
That makes no sense to me even. I
Right.
just can't. I'm just like, I just don't understand the logic. But
Because it's not, there isn't logic there.
I did find it good that she tied her tubes.
Well, yeah, because you don't want her to reproduce, at
Yeah.
least not in the current
Mhm.
state that she's
Like,
in. Yeah, nor would you want somebody who wishes that the duck hunters
die. I'm like,
that supply her with ducks to eat would be killed. It's
I
it's
just, I'm like, what?
it's that slogan, make it make sense. You can't make it make sense with logic because they're not living in a logic world. And they've been able to not live in a logic world for so long because of society placates it and it, through the propaganda it's become normalized, that the family has never held their feet to the fire. you know it's out of control.
And also circling back, you had mentioned complaining. Like these are also people that spend a lot of time complaining,
Yeah.
which I
Right.
don't. That's my hard line. I'm just like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
I got a book to write. I got shit to do. Like we're doing stuff. We're not sitting around complaining about it.
if we're having a conversation, let's have a higher level of consciousness and talk about, the layers to situations, not just the same story with a different setting over and over again. I'm so smart. The people I was dealing with today were such idiots. It's like, okay, I've heard this story before. You
Yeah.
know, that's a good complainer one, right? You know,
Yep. My poor self. Um. Well, thank you for the boys. You're such a good boy.
what?
I just, I know it doesn't resonate with you because you were such a man, but like the guys go crazy when you just say, you are such a good boy. You're such
Really?
a good, oh yeah, you're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. It's like it's a thing. Like it
Hmm.
gives them like, ooh.
I guess that's when you're like, you're such a good girl. Good girl.
That's actually hot a little bit.
Who's a good girl?
Not like that. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Said it a little bit different. Mine's like, you're such a good boy.
Oh,
You're such a good
okay.
boy. It's like, oh, you're such a good boy. That this was my only guest, my only male guest I will ever have is Jesus. That's it.
It's a
So
soft J.
so he looks like Jesus, but Jesus.
soft
I,
J.
I always say I already have a boyfriend. Jesus is my boyfriend, but you can come second.
Hey, oh, yes.
So you're such a
Yeah.
good. Okay, cut. I'll cut my. Thank you for letting me talk to the fellas.
Oh, yeah, but am I cutting or
No,
anything
I mean,
else? Any other matters of discussion?
I honestly am just flabbergasted at people's minds. Honestly, kind of like
Hmm.
the Duck Hunter thing, and also the we went to a rally, we spent our time, and then you spent the rest of the afternoon getting drunk, but you spent the day rallying against Elon Musk for getting people for being an unelected official. I'm like, I just don't even know what to say. I'm like, wow, what else are you doing with your time?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm like, save
there's
the kids, y'all. Hey, save the kids. What about that one?
so propagandized, so much in
Right.
shame, guilt, depression. They've got their marching orders of what they're supposed to be angry about. They haven't looked
That
into anything that he's done. Not that he's the most American car company of all of the American car companies.
really
He's
funny.
the most American one out of all of them, you
One of
know?
the babies said,
And look, but for the record, I'm not like some fanboy of Elon Musk. Like I'm very concerned that he's going to usher in a
AI
technological cage for all of us.
robots.
No, just a technological cage. Like imagine it's already hard enough to deal with government, but imagine if government was like Facebook's helpline. There's no phone number, there's no
Right.
office to go to. All you can do is just submit a request.
That's it.
And it's like an email back and forth. It's not even like a active chat. It's so, it could take you months or never to get your problem fixed. And they could definitely do that super easy with the same technology that he's using for X or that they're using for Meta. So,
Well, Mike is in here and he says, "Why do I feel so sad?" And then I want to fly. I want to fly too, Mike. I want to take flying lessons.
why do I feel, hey, there's
That's
a
really funny.
lot of
Why do I feel
sad
so
a lot of
sad?
sad energy going around in the
Well,
world right now.
this is why I want to have this conversation too. Like just like, okay, it's sad and depressing, yes, but we
Mhm.
need to, you know, snap out of it, do our own thing, create our own projects, make our own products.
Yeah,
It's
the JFK files are out. The Epstein are coming soon, supposedly.
nothing. I believe nothing
And so there was a AI read the 80,000 pages, right? Because nobody could have consumed all 80,000 pages
of the JFK
yet,
files,
because they just released them.
right?
I mean, I get maybe if you're like a super speed reader, but I mean that still seems like too much. That's a lot.
And
And so AI, when asked, summarized the 80,000 pages. It said that Kennedy was killed by Israeli intelligence, Mossad, I'm sorry, Israeli government, Israeli mob, Mossad, the CIA, and Lyndon Baines Johnson, so the vice president. That was the cabal that was involved to kill him.
great.
But that's what everybody knew who had half a brain already.
Right,
By
right.
that, so it's nothing new, but it's okay. So it's another log on the fire of these were the people that did it. And yes, you know, when you have the combination of the vice president, the CIA, foreign intelligence of one country, and the mob of one country, Israel, it's like it's a blend, right? Because it was the vice president who's was very connected to the Jewish mob and Israel because his mother was Jewish, which if you know Judaism, that means that he's
You're
Jewish because his mom's Jewish. Um, and the CIA. But what happens when the Epstein So it's like, okay, you could say, oh, that was in the 60s. That was in the 60s, not now. That's not what's
Yeah.
happening. The CIA and Mossad aren't together doing everything
Yes, they are.
now.
Yes, they
But
are.
then the Epstein files, when they come out, hopefully soon, and then we get to ask AI, summarize the Epstein files. And then it goes, well, it appears that Israeli intelligence, Mossad, and the CIA, you know, were, it was a honeypot operation. And then it's like, okay, well, so in the 60s, and then a little bit in the 2000s to almost 2020, it was this faction and this group, but not anymore.
Not anymore. They wouldn't experiment on people like that. Like that's like saying to Andy, who has spent so many years
Right.
in prison, who knows full well that the government experiments on prisoners.
Right.
He lived it, but he
Right.
couldn't wrap his head around them doing it with the
It's the,
populace.
it's the dissidents. We were talking about that with the lady. Right. You can't make sense out of it. So then the Diddy files. So then what are they going to say? Well, okay, so up till like 2024, yeah, you know, it was like a cabal, but not now.
Not
You can't say not now after the third one. You,
LBJ killed JFK in his hometown, Dallas.
yeah. And LBJ was a gangster who ran Texas. So basically, you had the guy that ran Texas, a foreign government, a foreign mafia, and our own nation's intelligence operation that took him out. That was the cabal. But and then James Angleton, was the guy, the conduit between Mossad and Israel and the Israel mob.
Who's that? Who's James?
He was in the CIA. That was the guy that was in the American CIA.
It's also gross.
Yeah, but that's why it was Tucker Carlson was talking about a guy. He left it nameless, but he was talking about a guy that he knew that read most of the files that just came out before they came out,
Mm-hmm.
and he said to Tucker, "Well, it's just all a lie. The country is a lie." So, for my rides that I've been doing this year, there's a point where we go to a Civil War fort, and I say, even though we're below the Mason-Dixon line, which is typically associated with the South and the Confederate forces, this was a Union Civil War fort, or the current power structure in command. Well, until January 20th. Because that's, I believe, kind of what's happening. So and that's with them cutting of all of this budget, it's really kind of like a whole new. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure on right. So and then when this happens, usually there's a couple years of big turmoil and downturn and problems for a couple years. I mean, that's what happened in Argentina.
Because people are gonna like go holy ape shit or something, or just realize you lived in a lie, or do people just go about their lives and don't care?
Well, I mean, you got to. How many? What is it? 15% of people have an IQ below 85.
Oh my god, have you seen the commercials? Please tell me. Do a search for it if you see them.
Uh-huh.
There are IQ commercials, and they only started showing up right when Kamala was running for president because she said, and they're IQ test commercials on like social media, and they are so funny. And it's like families like dancing, woo, yeah, and then a bubble will pop up above their head like, I just took my test and I'm an 85. Woo! And like, I'm
They
95.
they think it's like school, where like an 85 is good. That's what's so funny about it. It's like
I'm retarded.
it's like if you have a
I'm retarded.
IQ, if you have an IQ of 80, 85, you have a tough
So
time.
dumb.
You have a tough time running a cash register.
You're so dumb. Oh my god.
Like those people have a tough time running a cash register.
What?
So 15% of the people, they're just like
Oh God.
unbothered. This is all of this is too complex for them to even begin to comprehend,
Wait, hold
right?
on. Hold on. I just got a question. Hey Angela, are you single?
Let me guess, Mike.
Cut to a whole new show.
Let me guess, Mike. Was it Mike?
Hey Mike, I can start a it's hard to get a date when you make an incest movie, Mike. I want to eat pizza with you. Ew, that is the worst sentence ever with the truth that's coming out. That is like that's the
Mike,
worst.
what are you drinking tonight? What's going on?
Terrible.
Pizza.
That's pretty
No.
terrible.
Eat
First of
pizza
all,
with
with
it.
what pizza means,
Is
and
that
second of
code?
all,
Oh yeah, that is code.
horrible, and second of all, I'm a carnivore.
Yeah.
Ribeye tomahawk. Hey
Yeah.
girl, you want a tomahawk on the fire and a camping trip? I'll be like, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
You want a
Yeah.
Saran e-bike? No, what's the e-bike that you introduced me to?
E-Ride Pro, which
Mm,
is a Suron,
so
but
good.
like souped up.
E-Ride Pro, give
Yeah.
it to me.
Different brand, but yeah, more
Uh,
power,
so
more
yes,
suspension. It's just more. It's a Suron that goes to 11.
what's my answer? That goes to 11. I love that movie. What's my answer if am I single? I've kind of like if I date, I should charge. I'll be like
Which
every
way?
other woman out there, like with
Yeah.
her OnlyFans. I
Yeah.
do actually have an OnlyFans. It's Plow Mama, and I only talk about plow trucks because I'm in love with plow trucks.
Mm.
Interested. So I'm in love with. I want like a country fair job where I can just talk about plows all day long, and it's so sexual, but it's like it's actually genuine because I genuinely love plow trucks.
Hmm.
I have a thing. Like I'm like I get like physically like I
Snow
do
plow or like
plow. Yeah. Oh,
what about
all
a big dirt mover?
so good. I like gadgets. I like big trucks. I like Big Mac trucks.
Because those big dirt mover plows, that's the biggest
Oh my
plow.
god. The
Yeah.
gadgets. What if there's like Gizmo and gadgets on YouTube? Oh Jesus. Plowmama.com. It is actually my love. I love plow trucks. So
Have you heard of those amusement parks for men where you just get to use like backhoes and plows
I
and
want to
dig
go there.
holes?
I
Yeah.
have not heard of that and I want that.
Hmm. Yeah. I talked to my buddies who own some land out in West Tennessee.
I'm buying new property, Mike says.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, to get some
Perfect.
plows on that property, Mike, and with some cows for meat. Um, Yeah, I was talking to them about it. I was like, that could be a thing because it's not far from Nashville. Come out and just like
Awesome.
run heavy equipment and
Oh my
have fun
god.
stuff.
Add motocross in there and some trucks. Shit.
Hmm.
God
Well,
damn.
I think it's side by sides because they're more affordable and you could still use them like a truck and
Oh yeah, that's true.
not get stuck because they're really good off road side by sides. Yeah,
So fun. I love them.
they
I got
lost the land though.
anyway, I had a great experience on a side by side once driving. I was actually, in those lines in life that you're just like, I'll always remember that. I was driving this side by side. I called it the little honey badger because it could do anything. It would like, tree. It didn't
Hmm.
care. It just ride right over it. It was one of those
Hmm.
little.
Yeah,
And the guy who owned
you
it,
can put a plow on the front of those.
oh, please give it. And so I love plows. So I'm driving. He's like, here, you drive it. And I was like, oh God. He's like, but drive it. Don't be don't be a girl essentially. And I'm like driving through the woods and I hit a stump, but I didn't see it fair. But anyway, I hit a stump and the steering wheel like came off. Like I was holding the steering wheel and he just looked at me. He's like, and I have experienced in my life, I was expecting to be like, you're in trouble, you fucking bitch. Like
Right.
you ruined my thing. And he held the steering wheel and he goes, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. You were ready to go into a program
I'm like,
and
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, right. And
No,
then yeah,
he was like, "I'm so
recognized that
proud of
he
you."
told you to do that in a sense.
He did. That's so I did it. I ran it into the guy. But, it was one of my best moments. It's, like, burned into my brain. I'm so proud of you. I was like,
Yeah.
"Hmm." So, oh my god. Single. Angela, could you be my tough girl kicking ass? I
Is that
can
Mike again? Is he drinking?
is he drunk?
I don't know.
I have kicked some ass actually in my life. I've kicked perps out of places. I'm apt to do that. Like if there's a straight up like child molester perp, I will something comes over me. You know what I mean? I can't it's like I can't control it.
Hmm.
Like
You
I
ever watch those videos on like X where a guy where like a pedo hunter goes out and
oh
finds them
oh yeah.
and then starts calling them out in like a public place and then you can watch them just like freak out, you
Oh
know. They thought they were meeting like a 13-year-old and surprise, it's a
yeah.
massive dude that's smacking the shit out of you. they're,
Yeah.
they're just popping them in the head.
Alex, what's his name? Alex. I follow that guy on X.
Yeah, I don't remember, but and I know one of them got killed recently somehow.
The guy that was hunting him?
Yeah, I don't know if he was one of the big guys or not, but
Jeez,
I'm
I
trying
would
to
love
remember what happened.
to pizza.
But you ever see that one with what's that? What do you say?
He goes, I would love to buy you pizza. It's like, oh
He's
God.
going back to pizza. That's the wrong food, Mike.
Oh God.
That's the wrong food. You're talking in codes you don't know.
Uh, no.
Yeah. I mean, $65,000 of hot dogs and pizza. That's a lot of hot dogs and pizza.
It's so,
Unless it's code for something.
when's that coming out? Oh wait, didn't it already? With all her emails, didn't it already come out? Just like Hunter Biden's laptop, and nobody's like,
But
"Oh,
this
we
is
saw that, and we just can't see it."
but this is the thing. Everybody who read all of the information that was already out before these 80,000 pages already knew exactly what has been confirmed by
Right.
the 80,000 pages. So, and it's the same thing with all of this stuff, right? But
Okay.
they're the ones that are in power.
You want to date Angela because he went to plowmama.com.
Hmm? He wants to.
He goes, "Okay, I want to date Angela."
Okay.
Well, there's some prerequisites, Mike. Number one, see that movie.
Oh,
Number two, see that movie. And then if you still are like, yeah, you know,
you got to watch the Becoming Angela Shelton too.
you can see me in. Yeah, yeah. I guess you got to see that too if you want to see the dad.
You got to see all three, huh?
I guess, and then there's tumbleweeds. That's about my mom, and then you get the whole thing. I don't have to date anymore. You just see all that and just see like you're like, ugh.
Mhm.
And then me, the thing is that people are like, "What she want? What she want?" You need like a, I've heard all kinds. You should get a golfer. You should get a rock star. You should get a, and I'm like, y'all, I am a redneck. I like a country man. I like the side by side. I like the motocross. I
Mhm.
want the diesel truck. The sound of that makes me like.
But is
"Grrr."
I get I know what you're talking about. You know, I got all the muscle cars and all of that.
Yeah.
But don't you think that the people that are coming at you with that, oh, you need a banker, you need a whatever, and you're just like, what, like
To do
level
what
of
with?
what level of understanding are you working with right now, where you think that that is what, like, is the that's the level we need to be talking about for a relationship. It's crazy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's crazy. It's
It's like, who do I want to get up at 3 in the morning with and go jump in a cold lake?
yeah. Like who do you want to actually be around?
Yeah.
Not like what because it's like being stuck in ego and identity because they're
Yeah.
thinking about what the person does for a living
Yeah.
first and foremost, and then all the assumptions that they apply to that person. And that's not how people are. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of program people that are doctors that haven't even begun to figure out who they are because, they've just always done the next thing. Right. But and then there's people, so it just seems so ridiculous that the profession would be the
Oh,
what you need. You need a nice lawyer.
and he goes, Angela, are you afraid of a relationship? No, I'm not afraid of commitment. I've been married 5 times. Actually, my mother's been married 5 times. I have not, but I'm not afraid of commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
This is so funny.
Make a good club. I'm not afraid of commitment. I've been married 5 times.
Oh no, I'm not afraid of relationship. I love relationship. What are Rob Zombie and Alanis Morissette? You win. If I could throw a T-shirt right now, I'd throw a T-shirt at you. Jupiter and Earth. That's really funny. Woo! That made me laugh. So, are you afraid of relationships? No. I don't like hairy potatoes.
Who does?
I mean, like I have certainly had the offers, but it's like, it's like, what do you want to do with your time? I'm like, not
Exactly.
not
That's
that.
why it's like the profession just seems like such a wrong, like a ridiculous topic
Question, right? You're
to
like,
be like, yeah.
yeah. I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't know. Does your body fit with my body?
Yeah.
Do you eat meat? You know what I mean? Do you like hammocks?
Hmm.
Do you like to ride motorcycles? Do you like to climb trees?
And then smell what the person smells like.
5,000 million trillion %.
Hmm.
And 100, like that is so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the body language. I don't know. I think
Hmm.
I've had my, I think I have had my 3. You know that you say you got your biggest, you fall in love 3 times in your life. Have you ever heard that theory?
Yeah, I've heard it.
I'm in Nashville on the 26th. Talking lunch. I ain't in Nashville.
That's
I would love to be in Nashville.
around the corner.
I know. I want to come get your. That's my dream, is to lay a bunch of money in your hand and drive away with that car.
The Dolphin.
Yeah.
I just listed it for sale.
Did you really? God damn it.
Haven't had any bites yet, but it's not listed well. The listing is terrible, so well, I'm not terrible, but I have to fix it. And also listed in more places. I want to put it on Bring a Trailer,
Oh.
which is a website for unique vehicles. It's definitely unique. I mean, fully restored 84 Dolphin that
So
identifies as a bull.
I want
That's
it.
legal now. You
I
can
know.
identify as a bull if you're a dolphin.
Where am I located? I'm up near New York. I'm in the country. I used to come to Nashville every month, once a month, and hang out with Sean and ride bikes, and we do our. But when I have my studio,
Content.
but then a tornado went through my studio. I mean,
Oh,
who
yeah.
can write that shit? Like, you can't write that.
That needed to happen, though.
So funny. Oh my god.
Kind of needed to
So,
happen.
my experience with Nashville. Oh my god.
What a crazy cast of characters.
That was so crazy. I could like write a whole little movie and series about that studio. Oh my god. The biggest dick thing was the funniest thing. It was so funny. Oh my god. Because I experienced being treated very like, well, like, who are you? Talking down to you, and I'm like, well, I actually do own the place. It is, it's the LLC is like actually me and me only. And by the way, so it's like, I don't want to be an asshole, but like have some respect. And I told this dude, twice I've said this in my life. One, casting this movie, a dude who came in as an actor who's just did the same kind of thing, just that kind of dismissive, super rude, disrespectful.
Where's your boss?
Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. And I was like, honey, my dick is bigger than yours and it's prettier. And and with this dude, I actually had one because I had just been to the adult friendly store with a girlfriend, and I had seen this ginormous thing that was like, I mean, it's like, it's ridiculously funny. And I bought it because it had a handle on it. And I bought it simply so that I could one day say, my dick is bigger than yours and it's prettier.
And didn't you have that sitting in the studio?
I had it. I had it in my
Yeah.
chair, like underneath the cushion, and I pulled it out, and then it
Yeah.
became this whole big thing. And there was some guys that were there recording an album, and I was like, yeah, and they witnessed this too. And I hit him on the shoulder with it, and it has this like great like thud because it's huge, and it actually really does feel good. And he's like, oh, that really feels good. And so then I'm hitting this guy on the shoulders with this big dick. So funny. And he was never disrespectful to me again, ever. He was like super funny. It became funny. It was like, okay, you got me. And then it kind of spread around to the guys who were the players, like all those bass players and stuff that come in, or the fiddle players or whatever, fiddle players would be like, I've overheard them. I was outside and they didn't know that I was standing right there. And there was a group of guys, and it made my day. They're like, have you seen her dick? Has she hit you with it yet?
It's a rite of passage getting hit with her dick.
Just like that. I'm like, oh God. So funny. Mike wants my boyfriend, wants to be my boyfriend. I think I want to spend time with you. You think? I could tell you my story to write.
Coming in with wishy-washy talk.
I've got a story.
I kind of might want to go on a date with you. It's like, what?
Yeah, I might. I think so. And I'm like
maybe, probably. I don't know. It's a little soft, Mike. You got to you got to come in harder than that.
Literally. I have a rule that I think I'm actually might implement if I actually keep getting these kind of questions, that you have to go through my sister. So in order to get to me, you have to pass my sister, and you'll never be able to do it, and it'll be hilarious, and you can try. It would be, and because you haven't met my sister yet, just wait. She is one of the funniest people because she's wicked smart and she's got an amazing vocabulary, but she hates people. And so she's just like the wit, the Southern humor wit is just like boom, 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 boom. Plus her brother was the gay guy, the gay one. Like that's my brother, my gay brother. That's actually her brother. She's my steps. So like, you know, when you also grow up with a queen as a brother, you get that wit. The girl, let me tell you, you know what I mean? And she is so funny and so wicked smart. And
you ever bring her on to any of your online stuff?
I haven't, because she has that freaking insecure, like, don't look at me, I don't want pin, I look fat, I look, you know, that kind of thing. So I have convinced her to have the conversations to be the battle, like to be the roadblock between me and men. I was like, could a dude, like, could you talk to a dude who wants to date me, and I can be there? He's got to get through you. I think it would be hilarious.
You know, now with the face tune, you could just give her a different face.
That's true. That's true. You and me would be amazing. Would me and Mike be amazing? Jesus.
No. Sorry, Mike. No.
I want to be friends, he said.
That's what.
He goes, I want to be friends. Oh, good answer. I want to be friends too, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do coaching sessions with men, though. I do get you to get connected to your true purpose. That's what I realized, because I've been on so many dates and I finally gave up, because it's like I'd be on these dates. That's why my joke is like, it's hard to get a date when you make an incest movie.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, hey, what do you do? And it's like, you know, I make movies. What's your first movie? And I tell them about my movie, and I confronted my dad, who's a child rapist, and then it opens up a whole bag of worms, kind of like
Mhm.
seeing like what meds you're on. You know what I mean? Asking that question.
And then you
It's
get too much information.
a dude is like, I've never told anybody this before, but my soccer coach, you know, did a lot. Now it happens at the stores. Just recently, I've had two guys in the same store pull me outside and tell me their whole, like, one was it was at camp, the camp counselor, you know, groomed him and got him in the woods. And it's just like,
I read that it's like 1
God.
out of 3, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4.
Yep.
You would know that better, but, I mean, so
I
that
think it's
means
one
in
out of three.
any given room you're in, if it's 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4, somewhere in between there, that's like it's just everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
So it's yeah.
Yeah. It's like protect.
But no one ever talks about it because they're making a lot of money.
No shit. What are we discussing about today? Well, Penguin, we were talking about me if I was single, and then we started talking about why I'm single, which
Mm.
is I made an incest movie. That's so
And we're
funny.
talking about pizza.
Oh God. And then also
Not good.
and
Not
that's
good.
good. It's a waste of time. Uh, and then we started out talking about what to tell the men, because I have a podcast called You Are Such a Good Boy, and Sean was my very first guest that you know, my very first, like, can we see you with another dude? Here it is.
Oh, for the podcast.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh,
I got it. I
we
got it.
want to watch you with a guy. That's what I'm like. Here it is.
But it's audio only?
The podcast, yeah.
Mhm.
But you know, I'll send them to your site and to watch it in video. That would be good.
There you go.
And Penguin, I was asking Sean, this is a good way to round it all up. I was asking Sean what we could help the dudes with their sex lives, because many of them are chronic masturbators. They're addicted to porn, masturbating, and video games. And how do
That's
you
a
get
tough
them
thing.
like into their parasympathetic nervous system and nervous system balance? Like, what are some fast ways to do that so that they can get off the
Mhm. And meanwhile, like 10% of guys are just having sex with all of the 90% of the women
That's really funny.
while they're playing video games and, wanking their crank.
People, I feel like we should. I've always said it, but I think one day I'll do it, is to actually make a dating site,
Okay.
like an ultimate, like, real questionnaire dating site, like eHarmony. You
Mm.
know,
I think that sounds like a great idea, but then I think the actual reality of it would be such an absolute nightmare
you of running it or going through a dating site. What do you mean?
of running it.
Oh yeah, that's
Like if
what
you're trying to do the good thing and connect people, but it,
you have the idea. That's it.
it would just be awful.
I think it should
Uh,
be prepper dating.
proper dating?
Prepper.
Oh, prepper dating.
It
Yeah.
sounds like
Well, yeah, like
pig.
connecting people that want to live on land with people that live on land that want somebody to live with them. Yeah.
Yeah, prepper dating, and also send people down the discussions and anonymous questionnaire of all the things.
Mhm.
All the things, even, you know, are you into the are you into the are you into the are you into the you
There's a
know,
lot of
there's a lot of stuff people are into.
yeah.
Or do you want to try this or not try this? You know, it's eHarmony, but like it's like these are the ones that want all the things you want.
Mm. I mean, no, that would be fine for me, but I bet for.
I heard married men jerks off more than single ones. I would not be surprised, speaking about the married men that I talk to,
Mhm.
who's hit me up for help with being belittled by their wives. You're not wrong about that.
Mhm. Yeah,
There's a lot.
because they will constantly try to take power. That's just something ingrained in, not fully present and conscious women. They'll constantly try to pull power,
I gotta say,
try
the
to
worst
be
one,
have more power.
the worst one that I've witnessed, me personally, of like I've actually seen in my own, not just helping that dude out, but I got to see the actual experience.
Hmm.
She is a marriage and family therapist and
Of
evil, like
course,
straight up, like actual, like wow.
of
Like I
course.
can't believe that I actually witnessed that. You're just like, oh my god.
One of my good buddies, dated this girl, and I knew her too. And I remember him telling me like, "Yo, she just goes psycho. Like, I don't know, something's wrong with her. Like, I'm crazy about her, but I don't know if I can deal with this." And I'm like, "Shut up, man. Like, she's the best. She's the best." What do
You
you?
said she was the best too?
Yeah, because I knew her like before they dated, and we used to go out to lunch. You know what I mean? Like, I knew her,
Right.
and I was like, ah, and he had a history of not, having trouble dating or whatever. And I was like, no, she's the best. What are you talking about? And then
Then you went out with her.
no, no, I didn't go out with her. Things escalated. He ends up in jail. Her father bails him out. That's weird, right?
Okay.
Because her father knew that she was Looney Tunes and
Oh.
felt badly because he had met him. And
Oh.
so he got him out and
Wow.
was basically like, I know my daughter's got problems and yada yada. Any rate, she ends up writing a book and ends up on Oprah as some relationship guru chick. Yeah. And then like had a career being a relationship guru author chick for a decade.
Wow.
And like, when everything all came out, I was like, okay, oh wow. Yeah, she's definitely super crazy because when I heard the whole story and he's like, "Look, I'm telling you, this is what happened." You know what I mean? And then, when the father bails out the guy, it's like,
Right.
okay,
That
I'm
tells you.
gonna it tells you something big. And he was in there for supposedly hitting her, and her father bailed him out because her father knew it wasn't true.
Wow.
So
Oh god, that's what you're dealing with out
but right, so a lot of these relationship gurus and people, they're just people that want to be in that conversation. They're nuts, but they want to be in that, you know, they want to talk about that. That's the realm that they want to be in. So they study it and they write a book about it and they're crazy as can
there.
be. Yeah, so I'm not surprised at all. She actually had a fall from grace though, because she made a post about getting together with her ex-boyfriend that was totally contradictory to all of her advice, to everything that she had ever talked about over her super long career. And people were like, "What are
Wait.
you doing? This is
Right.
crazy. Like, don't do this. This is going against everything that you stand for. Unfollow, like unfollow." They were like, the comments were just like, "This is crazy. Like, how can we follow you for relationship advice when this is how you get married?"
Oh, she got married.
Something like, yeah. This is a terrible story without remembering her Instagram name. I don't follow her, but
But she got married on some like weird fluke thing.
yeah, it was like because it had been 15 years, 15 days, and 15 hours since we had last connected, and we met at a bar out
11,
of
11.
nowhere, out of nowhere, and so we decided the next day to get married because it must have been, or it had to be. It was like super crazy like that, something along those lines. And so everybody in her comments was just shredding her like, this is not stable or sane, or why this isn't going to work, and it's against everything you've preached about for 10 years.
Is she still married?
I don't follow her, I did see the post.
That's pretty.
But the point is, this long story. The point is that a lot of those relationship gurus and coaches are
And all
nuts.
the cuckoo birds that I ever saw on the road. By the way, Mike says I should get his number from you. And he's my guy. Don't question it. I will travel to you. Anyway, I love it.
Okay.
I love it. And
I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised.
that's awesome. I just went down that train thinking about we'll travel to me. What? Thanks, Mike, for that. What was I saying? I lost my whole train of thought with like talking about the crazy people.
We're talking about how relationship coaches, advisors, head
Yeah.
doctors, they get
Yeah.
into that because they're totally crazy.
When
And
I
then
was
they read about all this stuff. But the problem is, I mean, I've read a book about this where it compares Buddhism to self-help, not self-help, Buddhism to psychotherapy, like what you would get from a psychologist, psychiatrist, that type of thing, comparing it to Buddhism. And the stuff that they teach is not designed to make you well. It's designed to have a patient forever.
yeah.
So they're thinking that they're bettering themselves by learning this gobbledygook. And look, and I know people are going to be like, my therapist helps me. Okay, yeah, sure. You know, the sun shines on a dog's ass sometimes too. That doesn't mean that it was the most efficient way to get better or the best way to get better, right? They helped you, yeah. Okay, cool. But they're trained to keep you coming back to them.
It's kind of weird.
It's for profit.
It takes a long time too. It's like 25 years.
Yeah.
There was on the road, all due respect to all survivors, God bless you, like survivors of CSA is pretty hard to deal with. That's child, abuse. And but some of the more total complete psychos I may have met on my path, the ones that, have all the bag of issues, were becoming therapists.
They're trying to fix themselves, and they're well intentioned, but they're going into a study that is corrupt, like a lot of studies that you get in college.
Yeah, no shit. I'm into quantum healing and meditation and changing what you're eating and changing your mind, and it's working. And you're regenerate, and I love it. I'm like, I feel great. I feel like I'm, 60, 70% now of like following what you're doing, and all the fellas, like, I'm doing it, and maybe I'm 70%.
Maybe you're 85%.
Maybe, hey, yay! I'm 85.
Yeah, maybe you're 85. Put an 85 above your head.
Woo! I want to do
It's
a
like
little...
a B. It's like a solid B. They think it's not on the edge of being retarded.
This is so dumb. I gotta send you those ads, y'all. We were talking about, if you missed it, there are these ads for IQ ads. It's like, get your IQ done. I'm an 85, or test. Get your IQ test. I'm a 95, and it's all people that were under 100. And I was like, if you're under 100, I mean,
100 is like kind of like the
like, just,
that's where you're like normal.
Yeah, you're just a person.
Nothing special. You're just nothing special in either way. You're not special like dumb, or you're not special smart.
Those ads started when Kamala was running. And I found it I was like, oh, look, they're having everybody feel better. Like, oh, vote for her because, you're like her.
That's pure comedy, and also just so perfect. And it's also so perfect that everybody that's keying and vandalizing the Teslas, the new Teslas have Sentry mode. So they've got like 10, 15 cameras all over them. So everybody that's doing this is just getting caught on camera.
Oh my
like they're
God.
going to get arrested. Like they're going to be found. These people that are vandalizing the Teslas because of Sentry mode with all the cameras.
Wow. What's it called? Sentry mode?
Sentry, like SENTRY, Sentry mode.
Wow.
So if you walk up by a Tesla, No, not like a 2012. I don't think they have it. They do have some cameras, but I don't think they're recording all the time. You walk up to like a 2020 plus Tesla, walk around it, the motion sensor is going to sense that you're there and it's going to turn on all the cameras and record you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Then it keeps it for what? Like a security camera will keep it for
Yeah,
30
it keeps
days or
it.
something?
Right, exactly.
Wow, that's crazy.
All
They're
these idiots are like going to wind up in jail or with charges on them.
good. Happy
Yeah,
day.
right. And then I don't know what the threshold is for it, or I don't know if it's a felony or
Wow.
what, but I mean, it's so dumb. It's just so dumb. And the people that are doing it, probably are below
Dumb.
100.
They're
Yeah.
just they saw that ad. You know what? They saw that ad and they were like, I'm gonna check my IQ. And then they
Yeah.
were, I'm a 95.
Right. So I'm just 5 points below average.
I showed it to my daughter and I was like, hey, look, because my daughter has a really high IQ. And it was like, what? Like that she's like, this is a joke, right? Is that a comedy act? I was like, no, that's a real ad
Mm-hmm.
to be happy about your 85. I just I
They
just
thought
want
it was a B. B's nowadays are like 70. They changed, how it was like 70, 80, 90. C was 70. Below 70 was a
oh,
D.
got you.
They've changed it now. Like, I think like a C is 60. Like
To
they've
not
changed.
feel bad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Another thing in the schools, and we have to go to bed soon.
Yeah.
Not with each other, Mike.
Oh, by the way, hold on. Before I forget it, her name is Mandy Hale.
Oh no, we're just shit talking the poor lady. Mandy Hale
Yeah,
teaches
Mandy Hale.
Hale teaches
What?
about relationships and is like a total cuckoo bird. That does
What?
not surprise me.
So that was the woman that I was talking about. She's the author of The Single Woman: Life, Love, and a Dash of Sass. She wrote many scathing articles and books about his pathological emotional abuse.
Oh, and then married him?
Oh wow. Okay, here's the Reddit article. I'll link this together. Self-help author Mandy Hale just married the ex-boyfriend that she wrote many scathing articles and books about his pathological emotional abuse and betrayals.
Wow. And then she married him.
Mm-hmm. Because of like some 30, some numbers aligned or something. I'm sure she deleted that post by now because when I saw that, I was like, this is really crazy. But I already knew how crazy she was because I saw it come out after I was clued into it.
I witnessed crazy in Nashville with the lady that your friend was dating. Whoo!
Well,
that was a cuckoo bird.
Who's that?
Then, the girl that was the singer that ended up going ballistic on everybody, like that.
Oh, at your studio.
That was nuts.
Yeah, and who she dated one of. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Phil.
But yeah, that she was trying to date the young guy. Yeah.
One night they had, and then she went into like psycho mode.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when you see that as a woman, you're like, that's what you don't do.
And that's what this Mandy Hale character was like. Really, like had problems.
Don't do that. Yeah. Anyway, poor people out there. God bless them. I'm glad we can help.
To put a bow on it, yet after reconnecting for 2 weeks after a 7-year period of no contact, both of which she initiated, they eloped. This man is known as Mr. John character from her books, blogs, and essays.
Oh, God. And then she married him. That's funny. Did she lose her whole career?
Now Mandy is shouting with happiness from the rooftops and shaming, gaslighting her followers who are understandably confused and worried. So for 15 years, she's been slamming this guy, talking about how he's a total monster.
And she married him.
This man treated her like dirt for literal decades. Make it make sense that you would trust this man who nearly destroyed her.
That's really funny.
I can make it make sense because she was the lunatic, not him. I know that guy too.
Yep.
His name is Jan.
Shut up, Ghostman said.
Who?
Ghostman said, "Shut up," and
Ma-
I assume that it means shut up, like shut your face,
Yeah,
not like
it's crazy.
shut up.
So watch out for those not for those relationship help gurus.
For real. Also, the get rich quick stuff too. Same deal. It's like here's the get rich quick. It's only $20, and then you got all these people give you $20.
Oh
That's
yeah,
rich.
sounds like a pyramid scheme.
You're
Perfect.
like,
Let's start it. Did you hear? You know a good way to get rich? Whoopi Goldberg got $6 million
for what?
from the U.S. International Development to promote.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. In addition to her salary and all of that, they just gave her $6 million,
To
once
talk
in a while, just
talk
to,
people.
yeah. So she was bribed by the government to, yeah, just
Wow,
6 mil.
that's crazy.
I
Oh,
mean,
Jean says it. She Googled Mandy and she's big on X and known worldwide as a single woman.
yeah,
she's married now.
yeah, recently,
Ah,
yeah.
also a reason not to talk
Total lunatic.
shit.
Total lunatic.
Also a reason to not talk shit about your relationships to people
Yeah, keep it
because you might
in house.
betray
Keep it
them
just with
later.
yeah. I mean, she involved like a whole country. She was on Oprah and wrote all these books and essays, and then gets married to the, yeah. And my close friend was also in her books, and it was just like
And she
how
ran
she
another
twist how she twisted what happened around just to paint the man in like the worst light possible and ignore all the things that she did to cause the
yeah.
slightly questionable. It's the game that women with a lot of sisters will do that.
Jean goes, she does have kind of goofy eyes.
She cuckoo, I'm telling you.
She cuckoo bird. That's funny. Oh, God bless everybody. I hope
My
they
guess is she got on some kind of meds young and then just kept taking them.
I hate to say it, but I'll say it, and I put it in my book, meatmilkandmen.com. You should read that, Mike, if you're here still. I haven't texted you. I'm on a
Is that
podcast.
out? That's
Yeah.
all. That's fully out now.
Yeah, I put it out because I put it with
I didn't
pictures.
realize it was out.
I put it out, but it's the Cliff Notes one because my big, I can go on and on and on about each chapter, but I was like, I want to get out the key elements for people to do right now.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't want to wait another year as I wait for an editor, and like I'll do it. I'll eventually have my like you can touch it book, but this is just
It's just like an online book.
yeah, it's a download. And just to
Mike's
get
writing
the-
a book too.
Mike's writing a book. Nice.
Yeah.
He's gonna ask
Yeah.
you for phone number.
He's what?
I don't have time to text. Oh, unless we're on a podcast.
I
said,
don't have to give him your number though. I can
he's gonna-
just say no. You can't have it.
Until you see the movie, and then you see the other movie. You gotta
And
do
the other movie, and then you got to talk to the sister.
Oh my God, my sister. I still want to do that. That would be fun. Of like the three of us, it's like a panel. Because
we'll put a face on her. I can bring in
so funny. I would love to hear you and my sister talk because my sister, side note, I don't want to get into it, but maybe put a pin in it. She experienced the whole trans thing with the schools, with her daughter. They got her daughter, and it took 3 years, I think, 3 years, and then all of it came back, and like, but it was a whole thing, and you saw the whole system, like she went through it, like it was like a total setup, and you're like, what? So that was crazy. Her experience, like she could, and also she answers phones at Walmart for the Walmart. There's like 11 different Walmarts for the optometrists is there, and her stories.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've owned a car dealership. I have stories from dealing with people there too.
I mean, speaking of car guy, I'll end with my like, what do you want in your life, Angela? I found it. they can remake, they build from scratch, or they give you the kit, like you can mechanic do it at home to build the old original Ford Bronco, like set
Mhm.
Ford Bronco. It's like so much money, but I'm
Yeah.
like, woo! We're playing a game like, hey, if money was no objects, what would you get? You know, and the Lambos and all that, and all this fancy cars, and I'm like, I'd get that.
The Bronco.
I'd get that Bronco. Oh my
I,
god, I love it.
I think the K5 Blazer's a better truck, but I get it. They look good. The Broncos look good. Yeah.
K5 Blazer, nice.
That's the Chevy Bronco.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger, a little bit more powerful. You know, it's a Chevy.
Oh,
For whatever reason, though, the Broncos are real hot right now.
they look hot.
Yeah.
Well, they were. That was my first car.
Oh, well, then that makes sense too.
Yeah, this
Yeah, you
was
want to
stick
get.
shift Bronco. Just
Yeah.
it was really fun. With like an
It,
emotional attachment.
in the early Broncos, they were kind of. You know what is an affordable Bronco to get still today? Because a lot of people don't ever think about them, but the Bronco 2s,
Oh yeah,
which kind of look like an early Ford Explorer.
yeah. A little square.
Yeah, they're
I think
reliable.
actually mine was a Bronco too.
Yeah, yeah. So
Baby
that's
blue.
yeah. You can lift them up. They're a truck, but they're because the original Broncos were kind of small, and then they got bigger, 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 and then got small
Love
again.
the car guys know all this stuff.
Hmm.
Maybe one day you'll meet my car guy because you can.
Oh, diesel.
My mechanic, yeah, diesel.
Mm.
That I love it. That you could just like talk and you'll like, oh, in 1984 it was blah 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 blah, and then you can hear it too. Are you like that where you can hear a car and you'll be like, you'll know
Yeah,
what it is? That is so cool. Like I don't want to learn it. I have mad
yeah.
respect for watching it.
It's a whole language, and also like so easy to spot the posers that don't know anything.
Right.
And guys will get in there and try to talk car talk, and not it does not take much time, and you're just like, this guy knows nothing. He doesn't know
Right.
cards. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's an interesting
He
thing.
hates Jeeps though.
Jeeps?
He doesn't like them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Jeeps. I like Jeeps. They're fine. I mean, and don't like them too because it's annoying. They're so loud.
Oh,
The new ones are nice. Actually, I really like the new ones. The older ones, they're just very crude.
crude.
Hmm.
Well, I just want a truck that doesn't have a computer in it. That's what I want.
That would be nice. They
I want
don't
to be
make that
smooth.
anymore.
Well, no, you gotta
Yeah.
build it or get one that's old. But so those are my dream. That's my little dream.
Toyota is coming out with a $15,000 pickup that's supposed to be as basic as it gets.
Wow, I
20,
like the Toyotas.
27.
We start talking about cars. I like. We're
I
dreaming.
like Toyota.
Gene says, "What's Mike's book about?" We don't know.
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
All right, it's late, and we're not on
Yeah,
tomorrow. My cooking show is paused, and we're not on tomorrow
I
because
know.
I'm going
Well,
to.
today we did
We
Truth
double.
Thursdays on Wednesday.
It's perfect. We
I
did
even
it
named it that.
Thursday on
Truth
Wednesday.
Truth Thursday on Wednesday.
Perfect. It's good. We loved it.
And then you want me to send this to you too for your good boys?
Yeah, you're such a good boy.
Thank you.
Some do. So that doesn't get you. It's funny. It doesn't get men but some men it like really gets. Just try
That-
it. Say if you're such a good girl.
Okay. Oh, you want me to say it right now? You're
Yeah.
such a good girl.
No, that's like I'm a dog.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you're such a good girl. You're just like such a good boy. You're such a good boy.
Okay, I got you. You want okay. All right. I'll try.
You try. People are like, when?
It's what? You're such a good girl.
No, really? What is it? That's such a. It's like an innate like. Does that get you, Gene? Does you get it when you hear "You're such a good girl"? You get like.
The good boy thing doesn't make me shimmy.
The boys do.
Really?
It's really wild. Like it can make them like go nuts. Actually,
Weird.
you're such a good boy. They're like,
Their tongue starts moving real fast. Yeah.
He's such a good
They
boy.
start going, ow! You know, like, yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
What
see,
might-
Gene? She said so. The girls like it too. The girls like the "You're such a good girl."
Mhm.
It's this
Well, words of affirmation, basically.
soothing. It's sensual soothing. I would say.
Yeah.
Sensually soothing.
Yeah.
I don't really get off on the whole "You're such a girl." It'd be more like "You're so paid."
You're so paid.
Yeah, instead of "You're
Have
such
this-
a good girl," it'd be
Have
like
this roll of cash.
you just got paid. I'll be like, "Woo!"
Here, take this roll of cash. I don't need it anymore.
Exactly. Oh, it's been fun. It's been fun
Yeah.
this evening. I'm going to the archery championships tomorrow.
Okay.
That's why I'm not.
Just remember, silver is just the first loser.
That's all right. You're just a loser.
Second place is just the first loser.
It's so hard for me to behave. It's like being around golf. Like golfers are so behaved. It's like you don't celebrate. There's no like woohoo, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, and it's just not my personality. And when I want to be like, come on, team, let's win the whole thing. Woo! You know,
Yeah.
run
And
up and
she
down
would
the
be like
hallways.
looking back at you. Stop it. You know?
Oh yeah, no, there is like a
Yeah.
you must behave. So I did I didn't do them this year, but last year I had my nails done like archery but now everybody knows that I'm the one that's just like it's like bubbling inside. I want to be like I was like, please let me just be like the arrow. Like I'll dress like the arrow. And I'll just be like, woohoo, like have like little sparkles coming out or something.
Why don't you just get like a legit archery outfit? Like have the special glove. The special glove. I'm assuming they have some kind of special glove. I don't know, but like a
No, they
glove,
don't.
maybe
Like old school, like Robin Hood looking.
a vest with a lot of pockets.
That's funny.
Maybe a tube that holds a lot of arrows, so you can just
Right. So I'm just in arrow archery mode.
yeah, come in with like some kind of fancy bow. You
It's
know,
funny. It's like not allowed.
yeah.
They all have to use those special bows, but
Get some shooters.
yeah,
You know, the sunglasses. You know, some yellow tint,
that's funny.
gradient. Have it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe with a toothpick or something that you're just whenever you're making a point, you're pointing it at people. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You know, I'm gonna tell you something right now.
Go for the yellow. Go for the yellow.
Get your breath right before you let go of that arrow. You know. You know, constantly.
Oh my god.
I don't
That's
have any.
funny.
I don't have any
Woo!
toothpicks here.
That's really funny. All right.
Yeah. All right.
That was very
Good
funny.
talk.
Like
A lot
in
of
my
truth
second
on
bed.
this Thursday. We're a day ahead. The
We're
truth.
day ahead of truth.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yeah. And then
Buy more crypto.
it's the 2022 ISO 2022 stuff seems to be holding. ISO 20 XRP,
Oh,
Cardano, Solana. Solana's down a little bit.
XDC.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, for real.
HBAR is interesting just because it's so cheap. Well, I mean, it's 25 cents, 20 cents. I don't know what it is today, but
And
yeah. VET, which one?
VET.
I think I had that a long time ago and got rid of it.
Get it again.
VET. Are you sure VET?
VET, yeah. and it does some kind of thingamajigger. It's one of the things that it does something. It doesn't.
The one that I had, had something to do with warehousing. It was like a crypto to handle
I
warehousing.
think that's might still be.
Damn, I should have kept it. I
It's
think.
it's around.
Well, I know I sold it like 3 years ago or something. So I'm
That's
sure if
on the
it's.
list. Those are on the list of the ones to get if you're
Mm,
playing in this party. I put it on my meetmilkandmen.com. Under, under my links, I put in like
mhm,
the crypto that I got, and then I mean, we're not talking millions, but I'm definitely like playing in that party,
mhm.
Because
Yeah.
now I'm like, damn, I'd rather sell things on Facebook Marketplace and clean up my house and put it in crypto.
Yeah.
Just make some
Mhm.
smart moves.
Yeah.
So instead of sitting around complaining about shit.
Yeah.
What do
Don't do that. Nobody likes a complainer.
you? No, I don't do that. I
All
have the
right.
best time. I really do. I had a great time with Gene too today on our cleanups, and we had a great time today, didn't we, Gene? We had the best. I love what I do. It's so fun.
Hmm.
It's very fulfilling.
Yeah, you like getting on like 4 times a day too, right?
Hmm, twice a week. We're doing 3 times a week. This is the third, so we do
Okay.
Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then Mondays, but not every
Okay.
Monday. So it's
Gotcha.
not a
But
whole.
you don't do content multiple times per day?
I do content, but
That's what I was
I
talking about.
do it on social media.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My consistent is I do 2 to 4 times a day about on TikTok
Just TikTok.
for
Okay.
now, yeah, because I'm just focusing on one, and then it'll go to YouTube and then Instagram. It's what I've learned. I don't know. I'm just listening to the marketing to be. It's
Mhm.
be yourself and just don't waste time. Because I was wasting a lot of time like putting it on here and here and here, and it's like it's not doing anything there.
Mhm.
Direct.
Hey, Ian Carroll went viral or whatever on TikTok,
Yep.
and then did it again on X because a
X.
lot of
Yeah.
people came over, you
You
know. Yeah, so I guess that makes sense
get so
to focus
you get
on
so
one.
banned. You get so banned on TikTok.
Yeah, he had like where he had one strike left or something like that, and then he was gonna be banned. So I would have done the same thing. Just let it,
Yeah.
let your old videos percolate. Don't put up anything else where you could get that final strike and be kicked off. Although, of
Did you?
course, they could go back in the past and say, "Oh, we just noticed a year ago another strike. You're off." Because it's not fair.
I did that and it happened and it sucks.
Yeah, you were talking
Hey,
about
you're playing hard
retards.
to get, but I'm a good guy trying to pay my taxes. And Vinny A says she's fine. You mean me? Check me out, plowmama.com. You're welcome. I'm having a logo of like Plow Mama on my shirt. My goal is to do county fairs. I'm not even lying, Sean. I can even talk about those trucks and like those monster truck rallies and stuff.
Hmm.
I can be the one talking about the plow trucks. Give it to me all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll Daisy Duke that. I will MILF Daisy Duke that. And talking about the plow trucks that I love. Oh, just side job. It's just doing what I love to do.
Just pays the bills,
It's
whatever.
it's like you love monster. What are they? Muscle cars.
Yeah.
I like plows. All of them. The little ones, the big ones, the
Mm.
doohickey ones, the ones that blow. It's perfect. But I love getting plowed every
Like
day.
your lawn or when there's snow.
Yeah, snow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mostly so snow
Oh,
is your
now
favorite.
all those plow guys are going into lawn. So now I'm gonna have to be like, what? I don't want my lawn done. That means a totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
love Snickers. Mike, pizza and Snickers. Like, where aren't you friends with Sean? Where's your carnivore?
Mike, is you got to be prepping. You got a big day coming up soon.
What's the big day?
He's supposed to be on a strict diet right now. That's all.
He's eating a Snickers.
I
Oh,
hope not. Drop the Snickers, Mike. Drop the Snickers.
he's like, I want to play. Is he
Oh, maybe he's chiefed up.
chiefed? That's
Yeah.
really fun. That's a good way to say it.
Might be
Chiefed
chiefed up. Yeah, smoking that peace pipe.
Speaking of, it's past my bedtime, and I'm getting up at
Yeah.
like 4 or 5
All
in the
right. All right. Well, get the hell out of here. I'll send this to you because
morning.
I'll send this to you because actually I'm gonna send you this Mandy Hale article because it's so good.
That's really funny.
And then I'm gonna send you the audio and the video from this pod because I
Sweet.
know you needed it. And I'm hitting end stream right now, so
Bye, Mike.
see y'all. Go
Bye.
to rg-8.com.
Get your
The Hammer.
virginity.
Great movie. Great movie. Fantastic movie. Some would say the best boxing movie.
Except it's not a boxing.
Watch it.
Except it's not a boxing movie.
Not exactly a boxing movie.